What is good, people? What is good? Hold up, let me adjust my little camera over here. Let me adjust it. What is good, people? Y'all ready for the show today? We about to have ourselves a show. I know. We typically don't do shows on Saturdays, but listen, all right. We love y'all and we love these conversations that we're having. Y'all love these conversations that we're having, so why not have it when it needs to be happening? All right, and we're gonna have that same conversation today. Okay, so first of all, I appreciate you guys being here. You could be anywhere else in the world right now, literally, but you're here and I appreciate that. So with that being said, we're gonna be very respectful of your time. Let's go ahead and shout out to the people in the chat today. Organics DJ, welcome. What is good? All the way from Massachusetts. I can't say that word properly, man. Y'all know I'm Nigerian, like with the accent and whatnot. Massachusetts, right? All the way from Massachusetts. Good man. I appreciate you being here, man. Little talk. You guys are real supportive. I love you guys. Primal was good. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you being here. Sophia. God damn, long time no see in one of our lives, baby girl. How you doing? What's good, girl? What is good? Wear the crown. What's good, brother? How you doing? Tamila, what's good? Welcome. Beatrice, how you doing, girl? Let's make it happen. What's good? Vega, Flavy Gamer, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. While we're waiting for everyone to kind of get in and kind of the show to start getting kicked off here, you guys have any questions? What about for those of you guys right now who caught last night's live, right? We were talking about different situations and about relationships and dating, right? So if you guys had any questions behind that, because I know that live kind of got real heated, right? Got real heated for a bit, but I'm glad that we were able to get some conversations across, and we're get to get some points across to other people too as well, and we got a healthy debate going. With that. So, we're going to kind of do a little follow up with that too. And we're going to keep having these types of conversations too, as well, because honestly, not only the fact that our analytics are telling us that this is the kind of conversations that people want to know or want to hear and listen to, but it's also very important because I don't know about y'all, but real talk, the dating environment has gotten real toxic. The dating environment for men and women has gotten just way out of hand. And I don't see anyone else out here trying to have these conversations in the way that we're doing it, inviting everyday people to come on and basically speak their piece on what's happening here, right? And we talk about that. We kind of go over the major core things that are happening in relationships between men and women, the different ideas or ideologies that they're being taught for these kind of stuff. So what we're going to start doing is kind of dive in a little bit deeper. Guys, I don't know about you, but I like to have deep conversations, not only in person, but out here too as well. And I'm tired of the shallow shit that we're hearing, right? It's time to have conversations that literally are gonna have put us on the path to basically move forward and have healthy relationships. So today's going to be kind of follow up for that. We're going to be talking about submission, all right, and what does that mean and what does that look like in relationships. Now, last stream, for those of you guys who didn't catch it, definitely want to catch that after the show. But we talked about what traditional, I want to say traditional gender roles, but what gender roles would kind of look like for women in a relationship. We had the girls on here, and they actually spoke their side of what they thought that would look like. Okay, so we're gonna have that similar conversation, but we're gonna have a conversation on submission. Now, I know, guys, talk about before you come for my neck. All right, we're not trying to say it in a negative way because we know the word submission. That a lot of y'all y'all wild out just hearing that. Okay, submission, cooperation, however it is, because we know that that's basic thing in a relationship that it's keeping us from falling into the gender roles that we were supposed to fall into when we get into these relationships. So we'll have an open discussion about that, and we may have a call-in portion at the end of it too as well. It depends on how the likes are doing. All right, because some of y'all like to watch this for free. All right, and you don't like to support the show. I'm not asking you for money. I'm not selling you an Instagram course. All right, I ain't got shit for y'all. But just like the goddamn video, people, that's it. That is all I want y'all to do. Alton, welcome to the stream. What's good, people? Jose, welcome. I appreciate you being here, man. What's good? What's good? So let's go ahead and start getting some people in here. You already know who this dude is. You already need no introduction, my man. Yende, what's good, brother?
What's up, brother?
What's good? And we also have Layla in the building. What's good, Layla? How you doing, girl?
Hi guys. Good. How are you? I'm
We're
excited to
good.
be here.
Glad to
Thank you for
have you on
having me.
here. No, thank you for coming on, man. We're about to have an awesome conversation. I'm interested to hear your thoughts and your side of things too as well. But before we even get started, why don't you introduce yourself to the chat? If you got anything going on, things like that. And I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, we have a very supportive chat, and we have a very supportive audience. So if you
I
have
watch
anything
your
going on,
channel. Yeah.
see,
Awesome.
so you already know. So guys, give her a good welcome. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? My name is Laila Issa. Um, I'm just how can I describe myself? Um, I'm a wife. I'm a mother of three, of three children. I I love coaching sports. I'm really into like empowering females, especially in our Muslim community because we don't get a lot of support in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like kind of my role in the community. I like to help out at our mosque. I like to put on youth programs for particularly the girls because I feel like the girls are always pushed to the side, you know,
Mm.
especially when it comes to like playing sports and just living a healthy lifestyle that's not encouraged in our community. So I
Okay,
feel like
now,
that's kind of my role. You know,
so
I
when,
took on that role.
so when you say communities, are you talking about like your community, the community you're a part of, or are you talking about like communities as a whole?
So I did a little of both. So when I talk about community, it's more of I have my Muslim community, which I have a lot of young girls that come to our mosque, and we'll put on like sports events for them, or we'll have a camp, or we'll have bonfires, and we'll talk about issues that they're dealing with. So in that way, and also I guess you would say like the larger community. I worked at the YMCA. I particularly put on basketball programs for the girls in the community. So I'd say I do a little of both, but
That's what's up.
yeah,
Okay, perfect. All right, welcome, guys. Give Layla. I'm sorry, is it Layla?
it's
The
Layla,
eyes. Layla. Okay, the
like
eye was
Layla
tripping me
Ali.
off. Layla Ali. That's what's up.
Layla
Give
Ali.
Layla a warm welcome, guys. All right, shout out to you. Thank you for coming here. We're gonna introduce our next guest, Natasha. Natasha, what's good, girl? How you doing? Welcome to the stream.
Thank you so much. How are you?
Good. Oh damn. Oh
Oh, I
wow.
love her
He
accent.
wasn't ready for
Oh
that.
wait, I
Her
was not
accent.
expecting
Oh,
that.
he's watching that James Bond movie.
Time out. I'm just like,
I
wait,
know, right?
you got a mission for me? You about a 007. We
Beautiful.
got a. I'm like, all
Captain
right,
007.
shit. What's up, Natasha? Welcome to the stream. How you doing, girl?
Thank you so much. I'm really well, thank you. And how's everyone?
Good, good. We're good. Why don't you introduce yourself, man? Who are you? Let the chat know anything you got going on. What's up?
So, I'm Natasha. I'm from the UK. I work in diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, I'm very passionate about these sort of discussions. And
That's
I'm
good.
very, very happy and excited to be here today as well. Thank you.
That's awesome, man. Look, man, it's about to be a great conversation. So,
Right.
so the last stream we had, we were having a conversation of like relationships and the roles that people are supposed to have, right? So we'll kind of like before we get into this topic, because one thing that's crazy nowadays that people have an issue with is the word submission, right? And it carries a negative connotation towards
Connotation.
it because especially with the Western cultures and things like that that's not going to happen, right? So we're going to get into that. We want to know what that kind of looks like, but the best way to kind of ease into it is for you guys, right? I think Layla, you're in a relationship. Natasha, I'm not sure what your relationship status is, but we'll start with you. So if you were to get into a relationship, what roles, right, would you expect that you would play in a relationship and you would want your man to play in that relationship too as well?
I think I'm
Layla, Layla, do you mind if I like put you on mute real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. It's just you got cars moving about. Perfect. All right, go ahead.
I think I'm quite liberal. So my family's Christian, and I think growing up in a Christian household, I was always taught, you must be very feminine, you must be submissive to your future husband. Also, being African as well, in my culture, it's very much a woman knows her place. We serve men. I remember growing up, being the youngest female in my family, I'd have to go around and wash everyone's hands before we ate. and it'd start with the oldest man down to the youngest man, and then all the women. But I think growing up here, like in the UK, I've obviously lost that tradition. And I think I'm quite liberal now. So if I go into a relationship, I don't have those role expectations. Um, I understand that different cultures are different. And of course, I respect every culture. So if that was my husband's culture, I think we'd have to sit down and talk about it. I wouldn't I wouldn't dismiss it because that's part of his culture. However, I think where I am quite liberal now, so I don't necessarily think I go into relationships thinking, okay, this is my role as a woman and this is your role as a husband. However, obviously there's basic things like we meet each other in the middle when it comes to bills, when it comes to housework, when it comes to working. I don't think I personally would feel comfortable if I was the sole breadwinner in our relationship, but that's just my personal preference. But yeah, I think I'm quite liberal now. So
Okay. So that's very interesting that you're upgrading. I want to find out a little bit more about that too as well. But I want to get to Layla. Let me unmute you here about your answer to the question. So you're already in a relationship already. So I guess you can kind of talk about the kind of roles you guys have with each other and how that works to making sure that you guys have a home.
Right. So I I've always struggled with the word submission, always, especially in the dynamic of a man and a woman. For me, to be, um, I was raised by a single mother. My dad was there, but he was working a lot. Um, and so I was raised by a strong, independent woman,
Mm.
So for me to go into a relationship and knowing that I'm married to an alpha male, as you would call it, someone that is very, yeah, I don't know if it's a correct term, but I guess I would describe
Alpha
his,
dogs. That's what it is. You got to wolf it.
yeah. So he's very like, he's very assertive, but still very kind. And um, when we had talked about the word submission, um, or we had talked about actually like, I think he had brought it up in a conversation one time when I was like, listen, you're my husband, I'm your wife, but in no way are you in charge of me. Like that's, I think we had a conversation about that.
Mm-hmm.
And um, so I've always struggled with that word, but I've learned over the years that it's better to, submission doesn't mean that the person controls you. It just means that you are submitting to a position in where you have to work with someone else to create this end goal that you want,
Mm-hmm.
i.e., a happy family, i.e., children that are raised in a healthy environment. So I think it takes a lot of therapy. And I think that's why a lot of people get afraid of getting into relationships because they don't want to face, they don't want to, it seems like society is pushing this narrative that, women need to continue to be, in order for them to be strong, they have to be independent of a man, independent of all these things. And there's this narrative, this idea that's being pushed. And although it is important for women to be, to have that like sense of self-worth, building your identity, building your characters, your characteristics, building that self-integrity, working on those skills to better yourself. That's always a must, right? But that doesn't mean just because we're independent, strong women, like people are always searching for this label, I feel like, right? To label yourself as a boss, a boss bee rather than, uh, a wife is more celebrated, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of girls need to start looking inside more,
Mm-hmm.
and understand that we are strong. You are strong when you put someone else before yourself, like your kids, for
So,
example.
so I have a question. I want to start with Natasha, then we'll because Layla, this is based off the point what you just said, right? Natasha, we often hear this, right? Independent. Well, we got to be independent, strong women, kind of trope going on. But you also made a good point, Layla. You were talking about how it usually meant independent for men. Now, why is that? Why is it that in order for a woman to be strong, she has to be independent from a unit that's going to make her stronger? I never really understood that. So, Natasha, go ahead and what are your thoughts on that? Why is it this narrative is being pushed that in order for a woman to appear strong, she needs to behave like a man? But that doesn't make any sense because men are already there. Shouldn't you just play to your strengths as a woman? I never understood that. What are your thoughts?
No, I completely agree. I think there's this movement called the feminist movement, and dare I say, I think feminism definitely isn't what it's intended to be. I think back in the day when women didn't have the vote, this is me speaking about the UK, when women didn't have the vote, it came out of that, and it was more a movement for we want equality, we want fairness. I think nowadays it's almost like men versus women.
Mm.
It's like, oh, men have this, so I must have this. But as you say, it's about playing to your strengths. And I think we have certain attributes that men don't have. For example, we're able to give birth to children, we're able to literally create
Yeah.
life. And that's strength. That's something that a man can never ever do. But I think feminism has just taken this whole message of independence and just twisted it. And it's sad to see because, as you say, like we have so many strengths that we're just not able to showcase. Well, we are able to showcase it, but we just don't showcase it. Because, as Layla said, it's all about being a boss bee. And I
Oh, you
personally,
can say it. You can say it, boss bitch.
Yeah, boss babe,
I
Yeah.
boss bitch.
personally
Yeah, you can say
really,
either.
Boss baby.
um,
It's your
I
turn.
yeah,
wasn't sure if we could use that word.
No, go ahead, boss bitch.
I absolutely dislike the term. Um, I think it's great to be educated. I think it's great to have your own. I think it's great to be a business owner. I think it's great to have ambitions, but it's all in balance. You can still have that and still have a partner. You can still have that and still have a husband, and you can still have that and still have a family. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's where a lot of people get it wrong because they think, oh, if I want to be a career woman, then I can't have a family. Or if I want to have a family, then I can't be a career woman. But we all know that's not true.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
make a
Go
point on
go
that.
ahead, Layla. That's
I
you.
want to make a point on what Natasha said. By the way, I wish I had your accent. I would sound so much more sophisticated. Um,
Definitely
so,
took me by storm. Like, oh shit.
right?
It's
Oh my
easy,
gosh.
mate. It's
I love it.
easy. Bloody
Very
easy.
easy.
Um, so it's funny that people talk about like women being so wrapped up in careers and going out and working or going out and getting the bag and going out and just building themselves up, I think materialistically, right? Motherhood is one of the toughest jobs that you could ever do, you know. And I feel like society just again perpetuates this idea that motherhood is like nothing. You know, your mother, what do mothers do all day? They just sit on the couch, you know, watch
Mm-hmm.
Oprah, eat donuts, and just chill. No, we are working just as much as someone that was to go out to an office job. And I'm
Yep.
not knocking any women that want to go out and get a career. That's completely fine. But as the lady said in the other video that I was watching that Ayende sent, um, she had said like the further away you work from home, I think like the more messed up your house will be or something along those
The
lines.
more the
But
more your children will suffer.
the more your children will suffer. Exactly. And
Yeah.
what is the greatest job on earth? Being a mother, being able to look at the child that you created, right? Natasha, you said, um, you know, we have this gift of being able to give birth. That's such a big thing. That's such a big thing, and females need to start appreciating that and thinking about that instead of always going on Instagram and seeing what everyone else is doing or what everyone else has. Right? We have the power to create birth. That's such a big thing. That's such a big thing.
Right. So
And
my and because it goes hand in hand with the video that we're going to be reacting to today. It's from a sister called Shahrazad Ali, and she kind of mentioned something in regards to what you were just mentioning in terms of motherhood. I'm sorry, I got to mute you for a little bit, baby. Hold up
yeah,
one
I'm so
second.
sorry.
Perfect. So she was basically talking about how when you're talking about mothers don't want to be mothers anymore. It's almost like they're trying to be your best friend, and she was talking about how growing up, mothers would teach their girls different things around the house, kind of like Natasha, your upbringing with the hand washing, and we got to get into that a little bit too. But doing all that, then showing the daughters how to pretty much do that, and I definitely felt that because I'm Nigerian too as well. And growing up, my mom would teach boys and girls, right? Boys and girls, you got to learn how to cook. You got to know how to, around the kitchen. So growing up, my mom would literally sit my ass in the kitchen and watch me watch her how to cook, and that was how we taught. But nowadays we don't see that. She was even saying in the video, most women don't even know how to boil egg or boil water. So it was one of those things where I was looking at them like, that is so true, because one of the young men that she said she was talking to says that he doesn't know another woman out there that knows how to cook aside from his mama. I'm just like, wow. So we had these conversations where, okay, well, we got to prepare our men to be husbands. Granted, I'm not saying all men are ready to be in this role right now, or husband material, or even boyfriend material most of the time. But what about the women out there not preparing their daughters how to grow up to be not only just wives, but responsible adults? Go ahead, Natasha, and then I don't know, Yende, if you had something you want to add to that too as well.
Honestly, so I used to have this neighbor who had this young baby, and she would plump her in front of the TV all day, and she would go about her business and do what she needed to. I feel like TVs, social media, mobile phones are raising children these days, and that's why they don't know how to do anything. And also, I think because, well, I can only speak for the UK, I find that a lot of mothers tend to be quite young. So you're having very, very young, immature women having these children, and they're just not ready for motherhood. They're just not ready to teach their children the right values. They don't have the time, the capacity, or the awareness to teach their children. And of those who do have the awareness or capacity, I think it comes down to laziness, honestly. I think it takes a lot to teach a child how to do things right. It takes a lot to do right, and it's so easy to do wrong. And people just don't want to take the time to do so. People don't want to take the time to teach their children anymore. I remember when my nan used to teach me these things, I didn't want to learn. I was difficult. I rebelled. And a lot of people would give up. A lot of people would be like, all right, I just can't be bothered. But no, she persisted, and that's why I am who I am today. But a lot of parents give up. When a child speaks back, that's it. They give up. The amounts of people that I know who call their parents by their first name,
I'd get slapped. Even till today, I still get slapped. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
I go like, hey, if I call my mom her first name, bro, that evil eye.
Yeah.
No.
But people don't want to correct it. People be like, oh yeah, he calls me Mary, and that's fine. No, it's not fine. You need to pull it up. You need to work with your child. You need to correct that behavior. And I just don't think parents want to these days.
No, and I started to notice that, even way back, where you almost notice that how more and more parents, it started with I wouldn't say it started with the sex ed, but I really think that, you start around that area where there was a huge push against that to get the public schools and all that involved. It was almost, to me, when I saw that, I'm like, it seems like you guys are giving the responsibilities to the schools rather than you as a parent to do what you need to do and talk to your child about sex. Like, why is that so freaking hard? Wouldn't it be better for them to learn from you before they go out? Same thing with drugs, going out there doing drugs and doing all these different things. They're supposed to learn all that stuff from you. But like you said earlier, Natasha, and this is why women shouldn't be disregarding roles as mothers or parents or things like that, because they're absolutely freaking important, right? It's one of those things where it's like, all right, listen, it's so hard. It's a hard work, and it's time. You have to invest a lot of time into it to be able to get your kid to, do the right things and set them up right. So why is it that then we look down on someone who wants to be a stay-at-home mom versus a career woman and say, oh, well, that's not worth it. You know how much time and effort it takes to put into the kid to make sure to get raised right? What do you mean? So that's equally as important, if anything more important, than a goddamn 9-to-5 job, where I won't say, guys, I mean, obviously bringing the resources is very important, but I say developing the next generation is infinitely more important, because after you die, they're going to fucking take over. So how do you want them representing your bloodline is the way I want to see it. Let's go ahead and introduce Sophia. Girl, it's been a long time since you've been on our screen. How you doing, girl? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, so I'm Sophia. I'm from the UK, and Natasha, fellow Brit, hello. Yeah, so guys, great stream. I just thought I'd jump on because I caught you guys today. Normally you guys stream sort of really early in the morning, so I'm like asleep at that point. However, yeah, I managed to catch you today, so hey guys.
Hey, welcome. I appreciate you. Yeah, we're
What's
working
up?
on that too, by the way. And Yende, he had a conversation with me behind, because he was like, hey, yeah, people all over the world, man. Come on, you can't just be thinking America. So yeah, we're definitely making some twists to that and changes to that too as well. But appreciate you joining on. So Yende, before you go ahead and give your point here, what are your thoughts on where did he go? He's disappeared, right? He'll be back. But go ahead and give your point on what we're just talking about here. With the conversation, right, with the parents and not being able to educate the kids, and traditional. Well, let's start with the traditional relationship roles, or not traditional, but how your ideal roles in terms of relationships, what you're playing as a role, and what your partner should play, or a significant other should. What are your thoughts on that? And we can kind of dive into the other topic. And then Laila, if you have anything to add, we can throw that in there too as well. Go ahead, Sophia.
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
So, relationship-wise, what roles do you expect to play, and then what roles do you expect your partner to be playing in these relationships?
So there's I don't know, with our relationship, the relationship I'm in at the moment, the roles are like kind of equal, but he's also got kind of a traditional sort of masculine role, so to speak. Like I find he'll do things like hold the door open for me, or like pull a chair out or something like that, and he'll make sure I'm fed, and that he'll take me places, and he'll do things for me, which is lovely. So he does sort of play some traditional masculine roles. However, I think I agree with Natasha. I'm a bit kind of liberal as well, so there are things that we do together that are just us side by side. So I don't know, my relationship is probably different to everybody else's, how they see theirs, but for me it's fairly equal, in a sense of he's got certain things that he's responsible for, or that he does, that keeps the relationship going, and I've also got things that I do as well, in a more feminine role, so to speak. So just taking care of him in a different way than he's taking care of me, and it works kind of in sync with each other. So I like the kind of idea of two people complementing each other.
Perfect. I mean, that's good. I mean, but that's something that we don't really see now. And kind of what Laila said, it's almost like we're getting pushed to where we're having women say, okay, well, F all that. Now you got to be the one with the foot down. You got to be the one to look out for yourself, right? Because who knows? That man may not stay around forever. You can't depend on him. Versus teaching women, okay, well, how can I cooperate and work with this so then it doesn't have to be that way? How can I find myself in a role that I can basically own and take ownership of, and do that and then he has his role, take ownership of, and then build something to the point where we're both, neither of us are indispensable from each other. because everyone wants to talk about Jay-Z and Beyonce and all these other celebrity relationships. But what do they have? Beyonce already has her own infrastructure built. Jay-Z had his infrastructure built, but then they come together, they understand how to work with each other, and now they're doing it to the benefit of the kids and their legacy, right? So if they're able to do that, and both of them, I would say, are pretty strong, independent people. I mean, one of them had a song, Independent Ladies, right? So, I mean, if they can figure that out, right, and how to do that, why is it that most women aren't getting that kind of memo? And that's one thing that confuses me. But go ahead, Laila.
Do you want me to talk about more of the?
Yeah, go ahead. Go in.
Okay. So some of the roles that my husband, I guess you would say, is in charge of when we decided to come together as a couple. He would be the provider. He would be the one that would work. In the beginning, obviously, we didn't have children, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get my own job. You have your own job, but you pay all the bills, and I just save my money. So that was the deal. But then we were married for about a year and a half, and then we had our first child. And so I shifted to the stay-at-home mother role because I couldn't bear to leave my child in a daycare with somebody while I go to work all day. My heart just couldn't do it. And I don't knock any woman that does do it. If she has to go out to work to provide for her kids, then that's what she's got to do. But for me, I had the privilege to be able to stay at home because my husband is he's a middle school teacher, and he makes good income. So I was able to actually stay home with him and take care of him. And then when he turned a year old, I found out that he was diagnosed with autism. So we diagnosed him with autism. So that even made me much more, because even during the time when I was at home with him, I would get like, how do you say, like, I'm gonna like cry thinking about it. I would get influenced to want to go out and work and leave him at home. So I know the struggle that girls go through. When you're at home all day, it feels like you're just you feel like you're in a rut. You're just stuck at home all day, taking care of kids, not doing anything for yourself, just taking care of a newborn child. And there's so much beauty in that, but it's hard when society is always pressuring you, always making you feel like in order to be worthy, you have to go out and work. Sorry, I get emotional about this. That's
No,
why
but it's important that we're having this conversation, though. Don't even sweat. Go ahead.
Because it leads me to think that's where I started my depression. I dealt with depression for about 6 years. So I think it started with postpartum depression, right? Which a lot of mothers do deal with. But mine lingered a little bit longer. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out what was happening. I was a stay-at-home mother. It was my first time being a mother. It's very overwhelming, and women have to have a very strong support group. Like when you have a child, you have to have a very strong support system. You have to have people there to be able to let you go sleep, to let you go take a shower, to let you go relieve yourself. So I know where this like idea comes from of girls wanting to attain materialistic items because we feel like it's going to temporarily make us feel better.
Yeah.
Right? I need that car. I need that house. I need that bag or whatever to make me feel better. So I feel bad for people. Like, it's been 5 years now. Thank God I have gotten over my depression. I've been managing it for 5 years. I went through a lot of therapy and stuff to figure out what was going on. But that's why I make it like my life's goal to talk about mental health and the importance of women taking care of their health, not just their physical health to look good for a guy or to look good for Instagram, but taking care of your mental health to make you feel good, so that you feel good inside and you're gonna glow on the outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I that's why I love this topic so much, and I hopefully I want to make a YouTube channel, because I feel like men can call out women for all these mistakes that they're making, but I don't think we're going to see real change until women start calling out other women. You know what I mean? So that's where it's got to start. So
That's
I
facts.
hope that I can do
That's not gonna
something like
work.
that. No?
I
You
don't
think so?
believe in that. I'm not confident in that at all.
I was waiting
No,
for
I'm not
Ayende to
either.
chime in.
I'm not
I was
either.
waiting.
Yeah. Listen,
Oh,
there's
shit.
two reasons. There's two reasons why that's not gonna happen.
Why?
Number one, women aren't going to criticize each other or tell the truth on a mass scale. It's not gonna happen. Women struggle to criticize each other openly, behind closed doors all day long, like a machine gun.
That's so true.
But
That's so true.
publicly, you'll see women saying things like, "Well, how do you feel about OnlyFans?" Well, me, well, first of all, I'm not judging anybody. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I wouldn't do OnlyFans. It's like, wait a minute, time out. Then something's wrong with it. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? How do you feel about single motherhood? Oh, well, there's a lot of strong mothers out there, and I think it's incredible. Da, 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 da. But yeah, I wouldn't be a single mom, because it's like, what the fuck just happened here? So you know, that I don't have a lot of faith in that. Now, what would make a change is the reverse of how we got here. And how we got here was praising bad behavior, dysfunctional behavior, and insane behavior, right? So you have lots of women complaining about the same things over and over and over again, yet they exhibit the exact same behaviors that got those results. They date the exact same type of guys, and then they complain about those guys and say, why do I keep going for the same guys? Because you're insane. You do the same thing expecting a different result. So we have
Definition of
an
insanity.
insane, right? We have an insane society, because our society, the truth and the consequences are right in front of our faces 24/7, yet we will go down the exact same path that got that other person there. For example, i.e., single motherhood, i.e., selling drugs, things like that. So guys will see that there's no 40-year-old drug dealers on the block. Why are there no drug dealers in their late 30s and 40s on the block? Because they're all in prison or dead. Okay, so what makes you think that you're going to be able to survive this lifestyle if so many people before you haven't been able to pull it off, right? And it's the same thing with feminism. How many of these young girls in university are actually looking at the women twice their age? So you're, you know, pro, you know, feminism, and you're coloring your hair and you're holding up signs and you're blaming the patriarchy, but why aren't you looking for 40-something-year-old feminists?
Fight the system.
Right, but where are the 40-some-odd-year-old feminists that are happy? Where are the 40-something-year-old single moms that are happy? Where are the 40-something-year-old career women that are happy? Where are they? Where are they, and why aren't we hearing from them? Right? So anywhere else, right, the intelligent thing to do as a young person, as a rookie, as somebody coming into new areas in life, would be to consult your elders. If you're playing a sport, you know, let's say you get signed the contract, you're going to the NFL or the NBA. It might behoove you to talk to an athlete that's retired, okay, that's already went through all of that. He was a college athlete. He got drafted. He had contracts. He had managers. He had agents. All that. He was on a team. He won championships, the whole 9 yards, and now he's retired. Talk to that guy, because that guy's gonna help you make the most out of your career, and he's gonna say, "Hey, young blood, don't do this, this, and this. Don't make the mistakes I made." Okay, so where is that? Where's the equal version of women? Where are the women 45 plus counseling these younger women and basically telling them, hey, you know, you're being lied to, right? So as far as how I feel about why women are struggling with submission, why women are pro-feminism, why women feel they need to go in the workforce and compete amongst men, it's real simple. It's the exact same reason why we got young thugs. It's the same reason why we have these prideful criminals in the Black community, because it's pride, right?
Yeah.
They're enticing you with pride, praise, and monetary gain, right? So if you're in the neighborhood and all the guys that get praise are the drug dealers, the dope boys, the pimps, guess what? When you're a young boy, you're going to want praise too. You're going to want validation too. And who do you see getting it? The criminals. All right, well, you're going to want money. You're going to want cars, jewelry, women. Who's getting that? Same demographic, pro athletes, drug dealers, dope boys, pimps, right? So, and then who's prideful, right? In the inner cities, in the hood, you're proud to be a thug. Go to Detroit. These guys are proud to be gangbangers, right? Go to Chicago. They're proud to be gangbangers. Go to LA.
True.
They're proud. They're proud of that. Those guys are prouder to do that than the men are prouder to be garbage men, prouder to be electricians, prouder to be construction workers. So you're more proud to be a criminal than you are to be part of the infrastructure of your city. I think it's more fundamental to be a construction worker. I think it's more fundamental to be a plumber or electrician, because look how many people are relying on you, right? But you'd rather have people relying on you for a high, right? You take more pride in that. Okay, well, let's look at what they're doing to women. Okay, they're praising women for being single mothers. They're praising women for being career women. They're praising women to hate men and talk poorly about men. So it's intoxicating to women to get that type of validation, attention, and praise. So they're going to go that direction. Okay, if you rewind 50 years ago, the worst thing a woman could be is barren. If you couldn't produce children, it's like you might as well jump off a bridge, because that meant that you absolutely had no opportunity to get praise from the community. Nobody was going to pat you on the back. So that was women's way to get validation, attention, and praise in the past, was to become a mother. Right?
Have you guys, just to
So
interject,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry, have you seen The Handmaid's Tale, IND?
I haven't seen it.
yeah,
What is that?
I was watching it a little bit.
Yeah, so what you're talking about sounds a little bit like what was going on in that kind of program, that series, because like it was based on women who were able to give birth. They were like the ones that were looked after. The rest of them were all just slaves. So it was kind of like similar to what you were saying.
Well, we're heading there. We're heading there. So everything that you see on, you know, television and movies and whatnot, they're either going to be lies about the past, they're going to be programming and conditioning for the present, or they're going to be predictive programming for the future. So anytime you watch something that takes place in the future, there's something going on there. What they're doing is they're preparing you for what's going to happen, for how society is going to be structured in the future. And they're tackling your subconscious, because that's the most susceptible part of your brain. That's the part of your brain with no defense, is the subconscious. So they've already trained people to believe that TV is about entertainment and making money. That technology was never developed for profit. The people that develop technologies, they don't need or care about profit. There's always an agenda that motivates this technology. So it's the same thing with the radio, the printing press. All they're doing is updating the technology used to reach people faster. It's all about how can we get information to people. And when I say information, I'm not talking about the truth. We're not talking about, you know, educating people in that sense, even though the word education does not mean making people smart. Education just means you train people, right? So our technology has always been centered around how can we condition people? How can we control how people think and how people react, and what people view as their pursuit? How do we control people's energy, what they put their time and effort into? That's what it's always been about, right? So right now, where we are is pretty much where they want us to be. And I'm going to give you some examples of how you can see what I'm talking about. So like I tell Duke all the time, I believe in deductive reasoning. Let's look at the things that we all can agree on and use those things to fill the blank on the things that we are either confused on. So women have a problem with submission. That's false. Women are the most submissive part of humanity. Women are extremely submissive. They follow the rules to a fault. They do what they're told, okay, in school, at work. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times in their family, with each other, with their friends, with their peer group. Are you fucking kidding me? Women do not break goddamn code. They do what the group tells them to do, right? So women are extremely submissive. What you mean to say is that women have a problem with being submissive to men, and this is how we know it's programming. Because if they just genuinely had an issue with submission, then they would be fighting and resisting every voice in society. And they do not fight voices in society. They don't fight Oprah's voice. They don't fight their friend's voice. They don't fight the TV's voice. They don't fight their boss's voice. They don't fight their teacher's voice. Notice they don't fight nobody else's voice but a man. Ain't no man gonna tell me what to do. They're literally repeating verbatim what they've been programmed to think and believe. And I'm going to give you another example how we know this is true. When I speak to single moms and I say to them, so why aren't you with the father of your child? Or why did you leave your husband? Oh, because ain't no man going to tell me what to do. Ain't no man going to control me. I said, really? Because you wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning and go to work for a stranger that tells you what to do, tells you when you can leave, tells you what days you may and may cannot have off, tells you if it's okay for you to go take a vacation, tells you if you can go pick up your sick kid from school. Are you fucking kidding me? You do what you're told every day by your supervisor, your manager, the district manager. The whole chain of command tells you what to do every day. But these are all strangers who can lay you off at any moment, but you won't submit to your husband or the father of your children, who is never going to change. He can't lay you off. You're always going to be the mother of his child. So that right there lets you know that this has nothing to do with submission. Okay? The fact that women would rather get up and go out and go work for a stranger, wait to get their money, and then have taxes removed from it lets you know that they simply have an issue with following men because they've been told and taught to have an issue with following men. They've been told that it's weak. They've been told it makes them a slave. They've been told it makes them a robot, and every other word that doesn't feel good. Notice I said feel, because there's no logic involved. Okay, so what they've done is they've associated with negative feelings with men. Period.
So let's
associate negative feelings with men.
That's absolute facts, and I mean that's what we're seeing right now. Let's open it up to the ladies. Natasha, what are your thoughts on what Allende just said? Any rebuttals to kind of any cosigns, any of that? What are your thoughts? It seems like the chat. Some agree with you, Allende. Some are like, maybe not. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to rewind all the way back to Laila. Firstly, thank you so much for your vulnerability, and thank you for sharing your story. It was absolutely brave of you to do so. Mental health is such a big thing, and something that's really, really close to my heart as well. I think one thing that we forget is that everyone has mental health. It's whether you have good mental health or bad mental health, and that can fluctuate during the day. It can be good 1 second, bad 1 second. And I think it's important to remember that. In terms of support, just going back to Laila's point about support. So I've been working on a menopause project, and I think education is something that is lacking in society. I think we're so afraid to have difficult conversations, and these conversations need to be had in order for us to cohabitate and to work together. So in line with the submissive conversation, I think we need to educate our men more on what women face. I think we need to educate men on what sort of things women go through. For example, postnatal depression is so common, but a lot of partners don't understand it. 1 minute their spouse has just given birth and it's meant to be the happiest day of their life, and they're there crying, they're there feeling really down, feeling really self-conscious, and the men don't understand what's going on. They could have mood swings and they just think, oh yeah, she's just being grumpy, like I just don't understand. But it's like we need to educate men a bit better on how to support us. But again, it shouldn't have to solely be on us to educate them. I think sometimes it's just about having conversations and constant conversations, which I just don't think in society we have enough of. Prime example about conversations, I've recently been dating, and the sort of conversations that I tend to have, it makes me just wonder, like, who raised these men?
You know, it's funny. A lot of women have been they've been saying the exact same thing you're saying. Apparently, a lot of guys don't know how to talk out there. But single
mothers is who raised them.
But I don't think that's necessarily true. So I met someone recently.
Ask them. Ask them. That's what you do. Ask them.
So I met someone recently from a middle class background, normal family unit, very strong family unit, and just some of the things he says, it's just question marks everywhere. I think we need to be having. Sorry.
So what
Just out
what
of
are some
cut.
examples?
Sorry.
What would you say will be examples of like some of the same stuff he said that would be
Okay,
like
prime
alarming?
example. In the very, very early stages of our conversation, he asked me, "What bra size am I?"
Oh God.
Out of the blue,
Oh
it
God.
started great. Hey, how are you? How's your day going? What do you do? Do you have any hobbies? What bra size are you? I'm sorry, what?
That took a left
Hey,
turn.
hey, that dude sounds like
Literally.
he's been listening to some of the Fresh and Fit boys. Huh?
Yeah, but why does she continue? Why she continue to talk to him though?
Well, I continued to talk to him because I had to pull him up on it. And I was like, that's inappropriate for you to ask me this. And these are reasons why I find it inappropriate. But I think just going back to the point about how women are submissive, I imagine he's had this conversation or he's asked this question before. That's why he felt comfortable asking me. And previously, I would imagine he had a positive response where women would just automatically answer or think it's flirty or think it's funny. Unfortunately, I just don't happen to be one of those women, and I pulled him up on it. And I think we need to be having more conversations like that. If someone says something inappropriate, pull them up on it. If a man isn't showing you the support that you need, let him know. This is the support I need from you. I too have battled my own mental health. And honestly, I think the most liberating thing I did was to state exactly what I needed. If I wanted time, I want my space. I need time. I just need to be alone for a moment. If I want you to be there and let's talk, I need to talk. I need to talk to you. I need to talk to someone that I trust. So it is up to us in a way to have those difficult conversations, but it's also up to the men to realize and observe and just be aware. And then going back to women pulling other women up and things, I take issue with that because I think it's up to everyone to pull each other up on things. The example about single women, we don't know why women are single. I saw a comment that said his or her father died, and that's why they were raised by a single parent. I personally am an orphan, so I wouldn't know. But I do know that my grandmother raised me, and she has stayed single for her life because my grandfather had multiple affairs. But rather than her remarrying or going on to do whatever, she decided to take care of her children. She decided to provide for her children. And she's the most strongest woman I know. And she has taught me really good values. She's taught me how to be an independent woman. She's taught me how to be strong-willed. She's taught me how to not let anyone dictate my happiness. She's taught me all these values that she's had to learn the hard way. And I've had to learn from that. And that doesn't mean that I am then not going to be submissive to a man in the sense of thinking a man owns me or whatever. But I am more cautious. I'm able to see things that maybe other people who don't have the same experiences or similar experiences might necessarily see. So when that guy said to me, "What's your bra size?" I pulled him up on it immediately because I will not be reduced down to some sort of symbol. I will not be reduced down to some sort of sexual being. I'm a 3D person. I have feelings. I have emotions. I'm complex. I am a woman. I am not some girl that you ask, "What is your bra?"
Here's the thing to kind of add to that, because and it makes sense, because this actually goes hand in hand with the conversation we had yesterday, because a lot of men right now, because there's so much confusion in this dating space, and even people talking about dating, they tend to think that a lot of women are the same, and then it goes vice versa with a lot of these other feminine coaches and things like that. They think all men are the same, which not really realizing that no, they're different types of women, and they respond to different types of stimulation. Let's just be real. If you're gonna go here and talk about the bra size with one woman, for her, she might be DTF, and that's like, all right, cool, that's gonna smooth with her, but doesn't mean that the next girl you talk to is gonna be the exact same way. So that's a problem a lot of guys have a hard time understanding, because a lot of guys who have no experience with women in this space are out here talking about, well, okay, they're all the same. So what guys do is they go out and they try to treat you like you're the same, like you're every other woman, which is not the case. They're different ways to approaching different types of women. If you're a career woman, you got to come at her different. If you're one of these Instagram girls, you got to come at her different. They're different types, but then up to the guys to pay attention to detail to what vibes that woman is giving off to be able to suss that out. And we don't have that today. We don't have that situation where anyone is teaching guys that. So you're going to run into the vast majority of guys who are completely unaware that that's the case. So they're gonna think, okay, here's a girl. Okay, she's probably like the other girls out there. She probably has OnlyFans or something like that, or whatever the fuck it is, right? And without really paying attention to details, how she carries herself to say, okay, maybe this might be different. Maybe I should come at her a little bit differently to see what results I get. So that's just to add to that scenario too as well. And the same thing, vice versa with women. You know, same thing with guys where they kind of lump them into boxes. So that's why I agree with you. It's important for us to have these conversations to say, hey, listen, I ain't one of these kind of people out here. Yeah. And listen, no, I'm not, you know, the most guys out there aren't fuckboys or you know, shit like that. The guys out there who really, they're out here, they want to be with women. And they ain't afraid to admit that they want to be with women. And these guys are not afraid of type of commitments and things like that. And most of them we have on this channel right now, the same thing with the women who aren't these kind of OnlyFans, Insta thoughts type of thing going on. They're over here right now. So it's like, okay, well, let's have this conversation right now. All right, what is it that some of these women want? And, you know, what is it that some of the men want? And, okay, when we do get into these relationships, how is it that we're going to be able to fall into our roles where we can work and cooperate? And that's the thing, because what you mentioned, Natasha, was very important. I think that's where everyone's lacking this right now. It's communication, being able to talk to the partner appropriately to get that across. Now, this is one contention I had with my relationship, right? And why it fell apart, because I had a very straightforward, direct way of communicating, right? And my girl at the time, she was, you damn near have to go over the moon, down to the rainbow class or the yellow brick road to try to get your point across. Because if I was as direct with her as I was with just about anybody else or at work or anything like that, she would take it as me talking down to her, right? And after a while, I never really understood. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? I'm literally just trying to tell you what's up. I'm not talking down to you. It doesn't make any sense, because if I gotta talk down to you, make you seem stupid.
Did she have a father, bro?
No, she don't. She didn't. She didn't. No, she wasn't.
Okay,
right.
Then that's
right. But
okay,
most guys. Hang on.
Hold on. I just want to put you up in game. When you are saying something to a woman, when you're mansplaining, and they sit there and say, oh, you're talking down to me. What that means is they didn't grow up with discipline in their house.
Right.
So when you're putting things in order, they look at it as you're talking down to them.
Right.
They never experienced somebody checking them before.
Right. But even that, one thing I learned though was how to do it. Right. So it's instead of like, because don't get me wrong, even like future relationships now that I've had since that, it's like I still have those conversations, and now the way I communicate in a way where, okay, I understand that your emotional well-being. I'm actually more in tune with your emotion, and I can get my point across without having to offend you or have you triggered in a sort of way. So I learned how to adapt that, because my job isn't here to freaking change you. I've gone past that. My last relationship, that was the mentality I was on, right? Where I'm like, all right, let me take you out of this and let me make you this, right? Let me turn you into a gym girl. Let me turn you to now. Then I realized I was putting too much work on myself. And like, why is it worth it? Because it feels like I'm dragging her versus her wanting to come with me. So, you know, that was the thing. So now it's like, I'm not going to try to change you. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing even before I met you. But what if you got something for me, you got things for me, I'm going to communicate with you in a way where I can get my point across, but then I avoid the potential emotional thing that can come with it, speaking direct. And I think that's a skill that really needs to be learned now, because a lot of girls will grow up without fathers, and that's going to be a statistic moving forward in the future. I don't know. You want to go ahead?
Sorry,
well, what she was saying. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I agree with that. I think it's about learning different communication styles. I also do think a lot of it is about listening to your partner and listening to the things that aren't really being said, but also then bringing that back to say, okay, well, I've heard that you said this, and this is my understanding, because I think a lot of the time messages get misconstrued where you might be saying something so simple, it then turns into a whole argument. But if you just took that moment just to kind of circle back and say, okay, you said this and this is what I've heard, and just make sure you have that understanding, is so important. Communication is definitely a skill that isn't being taught. It's a skill that isn't being utilized. And It's the reason why we're here. It's the reason why we're having this conversation, because we're just not having these conversations outside.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Well, I think people are communicating, but we're just doing it differently. The way they're using the technology right now makes it complicated. But first of all, people need to start vetting each other better, is what it is. I mean, you can ask certain questions from the beginning to kind of even see if this is even potentially your person. So what he's saying, when guys think that all the women are the same and all this other kind of stuff, well, that would be neither here nor there if those guys were risk takers, if those guys were actually approaching women frequently and they were interacting with women frequently, right? They were, hitting on girls and stuff like that all the time. Then you think all girls are all the same. That wouldn't mean shit, because you'd be dealing with chicks on a one-on-one basis based on how this particular girl responded and acted. And then you'd start getting an idea, you know what I'm saying? You start getting a feel for what the majority is and what the minority is. So it's just about getting out there and basically being aggressive in that sense. Now, for women, that's never going to be the case. Women aren't going to be the doers. They're not going to be the ones approaching guys. They're not going to be the one, being forward like that. So the problem that happens is women have this passive way of determining what the type of guy they want or whatever. You have what they're attracted to, which they have no control over, and then you have, what they idealize as the guy that they want to be with. The problem is they only know what the guys that they're attracted to, want and need and require from interacting with them. And that's a problem, because interacting with women means putting mileage on themselves. So that's a behavior that's going to devalue them if they're doing it too frequently, right? So now what happens when they're interacting with these guys, they've already slept with this dude before they realized that he wasn't interested in anything but just sleeping with them. So now they already put that mileage on themselves, right? And now they're not going to communicate well with him to figure out what does he want, what is he interested in, because he's already gone in the wind. Now, as far as the guys that they're just sitting there twiddling their thumbs saying, oh, I like guy like this and I want guy like this and all this other type of shit that they put together in their head based on all the things they don't want from the past guys, the problem is they never stop and think, well, what does that guy want? What is that guy interested in? What's going to keep that guy's attention? And they don't do any kind of research to figure it out. They don't ask older versions of that guy. They don't do anything about it. They're complacent. They just sit around waiting for that guy to come find them. Number one, that's highly unlikely. And number two, if he does come along and find you, how do you know he's not just interested in sex and he just wants to sleep with you? So like that dude asking you your bra size, that's fucking excellent. I'm sorry. What he did was excellent, because first of all, is he interested in something just short term? Is he interested in a woman that he's going to take serious? Or is he open for either, but he's just acting on his initial animalistic attraction? So what he's doing is he's filtering right now. So he's doing an excellent job of doing that, because the chicks that's going to work on that are DTF, like Duke was saying, well, now we can get on with it. We know what's going on. I already put it out to you and addressed to you where my head is at and what I'm thinking about and what I'm interested in. And she obviously complied, either because she's interested in the same or because she's that malleable that she's just like, I think the guy's hot, so it's whatever the hell he wants. Either way, that guy's getting to where he wants to get to in a short period of time. Now, the mere fact that you responded to him that way means that he's doing an excellent job, because you put the effort in to correct him and let him know you're not this type of girl and all this kind of stuff. So what are you trying to do? You're trying to make a case that you're girlfriend material. You're trying to make a case that you're wife material. Well, guess what? That tells him that you're very interested. If he could offend you like that and you're still talking to him, then you are very interested in him. So I'm sorry, but he's doing an excellent job of filtering. And I think more guys need to be like that and stop sitting around bitching and moaning and complaining and proselyting and guessing what it is and making assumptions and it's because of this and it's because of that. Well, you don't know, because you're not getting off your ass and hollering at her, right? So whether you holler at her and it goes well, she slaps you in your face and walks away, you have more information than you did just sitting there staring at her from a distance. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So you can't be upset with him for doing what he did. And you definitely can't, because it worked. You still was talking to the dude, so you're attracted to him. You like him, because we already know how women operate when it comes to that. Two guys can do the exact same thing, but a woman is going to react adversely different depending on how she feels about that guy. If an attractive guy pops up at her job unannounced, that was romantic. Okay? If a guy she's unattracted to pops up at her job, what a creep. and she's calling security. So you get what I'm saying? So what he did on another woman that's interested in him, it could lead to sex immediately. But a woman that wasn't interested in him, that could have been a Me Too charge, right?
I would disagree.
Go ahead,
I would
Natasha.
disagree too. I'm just
I
saying.
would, yeah, I would say
I completely
You
disagree.
disagree, but you were talking to, but you were talking
Ah,
to the guy though.
shit.
But you were talking
Triple
to the guy
team.
though.
Oh yeah, you went for it now. All right, let's start with you, Natasha.
Well,
Then go
see,
to Sophia,
listen,
then we go with CJ.
CJ's gonna react to she's gonna react negative and disagree with whatever. But here's the thing though, that obviously has worked for that guy in the past, and as far as we can see, it didn't even fail dealing with Natasha. So you're disagreeing on what?
Natasha, did it fail dealing with you?
of course it did.
I don't get it.
The reason why I
It did not
responded-
fail. What it did, it was it let
Might
him know
please
where she was
explain?
at, and she continued.
Hold on. Let her
to talk to him.
hold up. Let her go. So what did it fail? Did it success? Wait, actually, walk
Okay.
us through how that ended up for you.
Going back to the beginning about you saying that you think it was a great way to approach the situation, I would argue that it wasn't. I feel like it was very immature. I feel like it could have been done in a better way. I think things that I've learned
Just
is
a
to
bit
be upfront and
disrespectful.
direct. You could have asked that question. He could have asked that question in a better way. He could have said, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for. Is this what you're looking for?" Which many men have done. A lot of men will say, "Look, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm just in a stage where I just want to have fun." And I'm like, "Thank you so much for your time. That's something that I'm not interested in." And you move on. That's the mature way of doing it. Secondly,
Wait, time out. But okay, go ahead.
Hold up, yeah.
Secondly, so
Go
when
ahead.
he said that, the reason why I felt I needed to respond is one, because I just thought it was really disrespectful. And two, it's not because I'm interested, that's why I responded. It's just because myself, morality wise, I didn't like being spoken to like that. Like we were having a great conversation and it took a complete left turn and I didn't like it. So I expressed how I was feeling because that's what I do. I express how I'm feeling. I communicate how I'm feeling. And so I did. And that was the end of the conversation. I said, "Thank you for your time. I hope you find what you're looking for. It's just not me."
May I say something here,
Okay.
Natasha?
All right. So
Hold
hold on. Before we move
let's
on
get the
from
ladies.
Hold
Let's
on,
get the
hold on.
ladies. We're not moving on.
No, we are. Before we move on from this, but where's the part where he failed? You would have to first know what his intention was with asking you that question in that way before you could determine whether or not he failed. You just said you were already talking to him for a while first, but before you said it was the beginning of the conversation. So I'm not sure it was in the very beginning of the
so
conversation.
we
or
were
you had
speaking
already been
for
talking for some time.
No, literally, when I say some time, I mean on and off for a week. Obviously, I have work and stuff, so communication isn't consistent.
Yeah, okay, excellent. Okay, what he did was excellent because he got to the damn point. The way that
But it could have been done in a much better way, in a much more respectful way.
Right, but that's your concern. That's your feelings, your concern, your comfortability. It sounds to me like he didn't care about that and he wanted to get on with it. He's like, all right, I need to know where this is going right now because I'm not that interested in all this other stuff.
But
so
then
what he did
why
was a
have
great
that
time
whole
saver for
conversation
him.
beforehand?
But can
Why
I
not
say
just
something,
ask?
please?
Hold on,
Ayende.
no, let me answer her question. Because that's the mistake he was making, was trying to tippy-toe around it before. Okay? So actually what he should have did earlier. Okay? So you're making the mistake of thinking that he has to capitulate to you to that extent. So what he's trying to do is basically find an out because he doesn't want to do that much if it isn't about what he wants it to be about. That's it. And women talk to men the way that benefits them. They talk to men considering their time, their feelings, their comfortability, not considering the guy. So if he's doing the same thing, God bless him.
It's not supposed to be that way. So there is someone on the end of that conversation, right? That's the thing is these women and men, if it's a woman speaking badly to a man, someone is receiving this from you and you're making them uncomfortable.
Yes.
That is the whole point. So
It's just disrespectful.
we don't know what his goal was, but it failed because
I
nothing
do.
went
I do. I clearly could see. I
nothing
could
Hold
clearly
on,
see what his goal was.
let her
nothing went
let her.
further with Natasha. So he was talking to her. We're going to assume he was talking to her for some purpose. Maybe it was just for sex. Maybe it was looking for a relationship. But either way, he turned her off, right? He made her uncomfortable to the point where she had to tell him off. Women will respond differently. Another woman may just get up and walk away. But Natasha, myself, I will let the guy know, listen,
Mhm.
please don't
Not
try not
okay.
to talk to women like this. It
Yes.
sucks. And then I'll walk away, which it
Yeah.
seems like that's
Exactly.
what she did.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well,
no, it's
I
not
get it.
okay what
Yeah,
he did.
I get it. No, hold on. Nobody said anything about okay. Women do things to men that aren't okay 24/7 in every damn country
And
right
we'll
about now.
call them
Okay,
out too.
what you're doing? No, nobody's calling them out. And what you're doing is you're missing the point. You're over here talking about it's supposed to be. Who is the arbiter of how it's supposed to be? I get it. Women think they're
We
the
So that
are.
arbiter of
so that
And
men's
man
that's the
comes
behavior.
to
reason why we
you.
speak out.
So
So
Ayende, that
let's.
man comes to you for coaching, for example. He
What he's
feels
doing
like
is
he's
thinning
unsuccessful.
the herd. He's not unsuccessful because obviously that has worked with other women. What he's doing is he's thinning the herd. He's cutting his losses. He's saving his time. I'm telling you right now, if the girl was on the same wavelength that he was on, she would have responded positively, which means she's worth the investment he's making. So what you don't realize, because you're not in the head of a man, is that a lot of times guys that are experienced with it, they're slick with it, they will offend a woman intentionally to get the information they need, because women are a lot more honest when they're emotional. Believe it or not, they might not be honest with themselves, they might not be in tune with reality, but they're at least honest about where they are with it. They're at least honest about how they feel when they're emotional. So what he did, you're misinterpreting because you're over here thinking that you know why he did what he did, and you're thinking that he failed. Please,
I'm
you
not
think he could have just lied and
speculating
said
at all.
what he's not he could have said whatever she wanted to hear. He could have sat there and pacified her the entire time, but he would have been wasting his time, which is clearly more valuable to him than offending her or her feelings. That's what you have to
I
understand.
I
Men start caring. Hold on, dude, hold on. Men start caring
That
about a woman's feelings when he's with that woman, when he's with her and wants to be with her. That's when he starts caring about her feelings. Okay, but if she's just some chick that you were approaching, that you are trying to trying to hook up with, then I'm sorry, dude. Only the weakest of guys who are used to failing and who don't have options put that much of value in what the woman thinks and what she feels and all of that, which shouldn't matter to him because she obviously doesn't give a shit about you. She obviously not interested in him or care about him. So why are you so overly concerned with how she feels? That's why
well,
you're in the loser box. That's why you're in the friend zone.
Have it your way, Ayende. But I will say
I
that I've. Oh, sorry, Duke. Go ahead.
No, no. What I
Not
was gonna
my
say is
way, it's the way.
I agree with that, but I also disagree with that as well. I agree with that because the man is pretty much, if you're not into that as a woman, he's pretty much just kind of selecting himself. You already know what he's about and what he wants, and clearly, obviously, he's right. Some women have probably responded positive to it before, and he thought this is something he's going to carry again. However, I do agree that was I mean, obviously, you also got to learn how a conversation flows. I'm not saying that at some point you're not going to talk about sex, because we are going to talk about sex. Let's just
Yeah.
face it. If me and you were Natasha, we're talking back and forth for a week. At some point in time, I'm going to push that forward, right? But it's just how I do it and the style I do
Yes.
it in. Now,
Exactly.
if you're talking about just having you guys are having a plain old conversation, how was your day, what's going on, and then his throws in the broadsides, I got a problem with that, because then it's just like, wait a minute now, time out.
you.
That just means that you
that's
don't.
what made
To
it
me,
feel
what I
disrespectful.
to me, what I see is it's just like it just lack of situational awareness. That's my thing. So
Yeah.
it's just like
And just
if I'm
Yeah.
talking, yeah, exactly. But
Some niggas ain't got 2 weeks. Some niggas ain't got 2 weeks, bro. I'm sorry. All right.
that's true.
Like if
But
I'm
you can do it.
if I'm
Hang on,
texting with a
hang on. Let me
hold
just. But you can do it in less than a week, though. That's the thing. I've pushed
Thank
situations
you.
forward where I've actually gone and we actually start talking
Be
about like
upfront.
sex. It's just how you get her engaged and get her interest over the text. The problem is that guy probably didn't understand how to do that. And if you guys were going back and forth for a week, so he probably thought in his mind
options.
that we don't know that. We don't know that. It could be
Yeah,
the
we
case.
can't
I'm
say
sorry.
it.
Listen.
Natasha is a very attractive woman. So if she was even interested in him to talk to him for any length of time, that means she found him attractive, which means that many other women find him attractive. Okay? So he is not pumping his brakes and holding up to find out when Natasha's head is at, if he can do it much quicker. There are many times, for example, this is an example of how I'll do that, but probably in a less offensive way. Not that I think asking a broadside was offensive anyway. And I think that goes more to show about how she hold on.
Yeah.
That goes more to that goes more to show how she feels about herself than how she feels about casual sex. Because if you're taking yourself that seriously, where your bra size is offensive, that lets me know
disagree.
a lot that I need to know that has nothing to do with having sex with you.
It's
now,
the
anyway,
principle.
Man, Ayende.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think
you guys are
I don't
arguing
think it was the bra
let me say
size.
this. Hold on.
Yeah, it's the
Let me say this
principle
before we
of
start
what he's
wasting.
asking.
Hold on. Let me say this. Let me say this before I waste any more time with this, because you guys are clearly missing the point. I respect all three of you. Like, we can treat ladies like ladies. We could talk respectfully and all that good stuff. I'm all for that. Hallelujah. You're missing the point of what I'm trying to say. That particular guy valued his time much, much more. That's what I'm trying to say. So in which case he did what was best for him, but doesn't mean it was wrong and all these other things.
Can I say
Here's
something?
the thing.
Right,
Go ahead. We gotta let Sophia go.
Just hold on 1 second. Let me give you the example what I'm trying to make. So many times when I first start texting with a girl, like immediately, I don't care if it's business, I don't care if it's casual, I don't care whatever it is. The moment I start talking with a girl, I will intentionally text her something. Okay, baby. Now, I can have very little interest in this chick, or I can have a lot of interest, whatever. The point is, I'm doing that for a reason. Okay? Because I want to see how she's going to respond to that. She's going to be one of those chicks that say, baby, excuse me, don't call me baby. I don't know you. You call me baby. Oh, we just met and you're calling me baby already? Can you do me a favor? Can you please not call me baby? You just saved me a hell of a lot of time, because now I know that I'm going to delete immediately, and that will be the last time that I text that girl, because I don't have her number anymore. Okay? And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to see how sensitive is this girl? How serious is she taking herself?
Why don't you just
You
ask
get what I'm saying?
her?
How stuck up? Ask her what? Are you stuck up, bitch? How am I going to ask her
just
that?
ask her.
Ask her
What is
that.
it that you're
But
looking for? And this goes back to what I've been
it's
saying
not
about
hold on.
conversations.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not about
But you don't
that.
need to play
It's
these
not
mind
about
games.
Just listen, Natasha, so you can understand what I'm trying to say, because it's not a mind game. It's actually the opposite of a mind game. Mind games take time. Okay, what you're talking
But that
about
is
is ask
taking
her
time.
how she
That's
feels.
you
Natasha,
psychoanalyzing
hold on. You might learn what I'm trying to say. You're over here making it about whether or not she's interested in having sex with this particular guy, or whether or not she's interested in having casual sex. That's not always the that's you just said, well, where's your head at and all this other kind of stuff. That's not the point.
What I said was, I think we just need to be upfront. Like, we are grown. We have been through these relationships.
Okay, so how can you be upfront about that when most people don't even?
Because she's been wanting to say
we gotta let Sophia go. We can't the chat we gotta do this. All right, Sophia, what are your thoughts on it before it gets contentious here?
I understand it was successful for himself. I understand what Ayende is trying to say. I think that what Natasha was doing by responding to him may count as success in your eyes. In my opinion, it was her setting a boundary, because that person violated a boundary of hers. The bra size itself is not offensive. It was more the kind of lack of respect around where he put it. So like Duke said, situational awareness sort of thing. But I understand what Ayende is trying to say. There are many men out there that value their own time and their own
absolutely
thingies more. They value that more than what they're so I get that, and I understand what Ayende is trying to say too. I don't think it was the right way that he went about asking that. But again, I think Ayende kind of made a point where, how do you ask it? You know, how do you go about doing this? So I get it. I get why men use those tactics in order to whittle down, you know, the people that they're interested in. Whether it's right or not is a different story. But yeah, I think there's a lot there to take from this. But for the main part, I don't think Natasha was giving him attention because of interest. I think it was literally just a boundary being set because he violated something. But yes, I see your point, Ayende.
I got a question for you. I got a question for you.
There because of interest, though. She was there.
I got a question for you. So this one came through Instagram. A lady was saying, so what about wouldn't you want Natasha. She said, wouldn't you want Natasha to self-censor, not self-censor, but to censor the dude if he's talking about the bra size and whatnot to move on? Since like girls kind of do that with guys too as well. A similar thing where, or guys, where it's like you ask a question and it's like, oh, okay, you're this type of chick, so I'm gonna basically not even deal with you or work with you or even take you seriously, things like that. So wouldn't you say that would work both ways, and that would be absolutely necessary? Not saying that she's looking for it, but you know, if some guy is stepping to her the way he's stepping to her, doesn't she have the right to basically say, okay, you're probably not the one I'm looking for, I'm gonna just go ahead and do something else?
No, listen. There was absolutely no problem.
Get the lights up, people. Let's go.
The Natasha reacted like she's supposed to, like a classy lady, and let him know where she was at or whatever. She basically let him know what the price was, and he basically said, "I'm not interested in paying that price," and that's a form of communication within itself. Because that's how seriously she takes herself. That's how valuable she thinks she is. She needs to be respected. You need to do this. You need to do that. Blah blah blah. It's not that he necessarily has a problem with that, or he disagrees. He just feels like, okay, great. I don't want to pay that price. So if someone says, hey, like I say, hey, that's a nice whatever. How much is it? Oh well, this is 500 pounds. Oh great, that's excellent. I see how that could be 500 pounds. I'm not paying 500 pounds for that. I'm out. I don't have a problem with it costing 500 pounds. I don't have a problem with the next bloke paying 500 pounds. But me, bruh, I'm not paying. It's that simple. Now, what I'm trying to say is, women have a very bad habit of always looking at men and men's behavior, not realizing that they have their version of that. Right? One thing women hate is when men have the same amount of options, or a man, because men in general never have the type of options that women have. But the top 30% of men start looking equal to women as far as options. So women hate when men have options, and they hate when men have advantages in the dating market, and they hate when men have leverage in the dating market. That's why women don't want to depend on no man. They want to go get their own job and be independent, because depending on the man's money, that's a form of leverage. There's a lot of women that don't want to be with a guy that's better looking or in better shape than them. Why? Because he has more options, will put pressure on them. They don't like that. Okay? And any advantage that a guy has, for example, if you're on a campus that has 30% men, well, now the guys have the advantage over the women. Again, the women don't like it. They don't like it when the man has the advantage. Now, you see how she didn't like him being bold and saying, what's your bra size? He was saying that because if she ain't with it, it don't matter, because I got 10 that are. And I'm trying to figure out, before I waste my night with you, you know what I'm saying? Should I just go hit up one of my other things that I know is down? Now, when a woman opens up her Tinder or opens up her Instagram DM or her iMessage, she has tons of guys in there. So the equivalent of that for a female is, the moment he says something that she don't like, she out of there, because she has so many other guys, right? Now, was it fair to that guy that he gets discarded immediately? You see what I mean? Just simply because he said or did something slightly that's not to her liking. And the only reason why she's so quick to drop him or so quick to move on is because she knows she got tons of guys that want to take her out, tons of guys that want a shot at it. So I'm sorry to be honest and frank.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be honest as always. But what that was is a guy that had as many options as the average woman, and he acted on it accordingly.
Welcome back, Laila, by the way. Welcome back. Go ahead, Natasha. What's your
okay, hypothetically, going back to my whole point about clear and concise communication, hypothetically, if when I said what I said, if he had turned around and said, you know what, I'm really sorry, that's not what I meant by that question, this is what I'm used to, this usually gets me results, and I obviously I shouldn't have said that to you, can we restart? I would be more inclined to say, you know what, thank you, yes, I'm happy to restart. But that's not what happened. He was happy to say,
I'm gonna tell you
CJ, what were you saying?
I was just asking why and there's laughing.
I was laughing. She asked me why I was laughing. Go ahead. I'm gonna tell you why.
In my opinion, I think, as I keep saying, communication is important. And for me, direct communication is important. If you're telling me this is this, I'm going to take you at your word. If you say, I'm really sorry for these reasons, can we start again? Sure, why not? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But if you say, okay, well, that's it, I'm not looking for a relationship, I'm not looking for anything serious, then thank you for your time. Please. Good luck with the future. Good luck with your endeavors. and I shall continue to do what I'm doing. It's not like I understand what you're saying about options, but I think
I agree with you what you're saying, because here's the thing. Hold on. Yeah. Before we get to why, because we want to know why you were laughing. I am Jay Naive says you got that demon laugh over here. So I want to know why you were laughing. But before we get to that, Natasha, I definitely agree with you, man. Because here's the thing. I'm a dude. I don't like to say this, but I got a lot of options. I look at my Tinder. I look at some of these dating apps I have. I look at the matches. I look at the conversations I have with people. I got that, but I also know that with the ladies I'm talking to, there's a right way to introduce certain things, and there's a definite wrong way. And I learned that through interacting with other ladies too as well, because I don't care how many times they found me attractive or anything like that. I have said something that has been distasteful, and even when I follow up with the chick, if let's say I say something and I try to introduce her a sexual way, and then all of a sudden I don't hear anything from her, right? A week go by, 2 weeks go by, I message her and whatnot, like, what's going on? Come to find out, oh, she didn't like the way I stepped to her because she thought that was what I was looking for. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where, as I was going along and I was talking, as you talk to more women and things like that, you understand the style and how you're supposed to have it. So it wasn't a problem with the bra size conversation, it's how we interjected that conversation into it, and the lack of understanding that there are different types of women out there that do it the same way that women have the lack of understanding that there are different types of dudes out there who are like that. For instance, I can't tell you how many times I get in a conversation and women will tell me, oh my God, are we actually having a conversation? I'm sitting there like, what are you talking about? Because they don't actually have that with dudes that they talk to. So that's a different vibe too as well. So that's one of the things where I understand what you're talking about. And that guys like that do exist, right? Where guys like that, they do have an abundance of options, and they can just choose to be assholes and just cut the mustard. My philosophy when it comes to dating is I don't like to just, leave things on a bad note with people or leave a bad taste in the mouth of people. Listen, I'm gonna treat you with a certain level of respect until the disrespect starts. That's how I go. But go ahead, and then why were you laughing? You want to answer that, and then Laila, we'll get your stuff.
Listen, for the fellas getting results being an asshole, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. For all you dudes out there trying to pretend to be an asshole and it still ain't working for you, stop pretending, stop perpetrating. So that's that right there, because you're saying that like these guys don't get results. These guys get results. Let's deal with some facts, because we're doing a bunch of like all this. We don't know what's going on. So let's deal with some facts. How tall is this guy?
I have no clue. He's my friend's friend. I met him through my friend. I have no clue how tall he is. It's something that just didn't come up. Height to me isn't a factor.
No, how much taller is he than you? Estimate.
Well, I'm 5'2", so I would imagine he's a lot taller than me.
Is this guy almost 6 foot, above 6 foot, around 6 foot?
I don't know.
Does he look like he play basketball? Does he look? Oh, you never met the dude in person?
No.
That's what. Okay, that was it. That was the mentality I was getting, because it didn't sound like they met each other.
Hold on. So how do you know what he looks like? You saw pictures of the guy?
Yeah, on Instagram.
Okay, is a good-looking guy or not? I can go on Instagram right now and find this
nigga. In the conventional sense, I wouldn't say he's good-looking, but for me, my terms of good-looking aren't really what most people would find good-looking.
Okay, is he what most women consider good-looking?
Sorry, why don't I think he's good looking? Or why
No. I said, would you say that most women think he's good looking? Most women consider him good looking.
No, I don't think so. He's quite geeky looking.
Why were you talking to this guy about anything then?
Sorry? Wait, you both asked
no, it's excellent. It's
excellent. No. I said if he's geeky looking, I mean, I don't know if that means it, because if you're, to me, a geek, I mean, I don't know. It seems like a lame.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out.
So he's not tall. I don't think he's tall, but I don't know, because he's always around other men and they could be tall. My friend is about average height, so it's very hard to tell how tall he is based on pictures. So I don't want to speculate. Personally, I don't think most girls would look at him and go, oh my goodness, he is fine. Like, but yeah, I think for me, my attractiveness doesn't really come from looks as much as it does how someone makes me feel.
Now, was the reason you gave him a chance because he was almost like a referral from a friend?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
that
what
makes
I'm
sense.
trying to figure out. So a friend tried to hook you guys up, is what you're saying?
Yeah, he was just like, I think you two would get on really great. I was like, sure, I'm happy to have a conversation.
That makes sense.
Why would he think that you guys are happy to get on great?
because
I don't know.
we both have
I'm
quite
confused.
similar interests. We're both quite driven. We both have.
He does what? He does what? What? Because that's the next question I was going to ask. Is what's his career now?
He's a consultant.
Like
Sorry,
a
what was your
doctor.
question?
Okay. All right. Okay. No, I got it.
Yeah, because when you were talking about it, I instantly thought this has to be over text message. Again, there's no way. Because guy, listen, if you're in person, that just won't fly. There's no way unless you're like in the room in the bedroom and you guys have been talking about your day and then just talking about your process. It just would be super awkward. So this sounds like a wannabe text game kind of thing, but he failed when he tried to escalate it. So my thought process is because I read things, I read situations, I read into it, right? And my thought process is this. It probably the reason why he felt like he had to go through that questioning was because that, hey, listen, it's been a week and the conversation has been kind of sparse, whatnot. And I'm trying to escalate this. Yeah, that's how much they draw it out. So now I gotta feel like, okay, how can I escalate to get to sex? What's your bra size? You see what I'm saying? So that was the mentality. So I without even caring about his looks, without even caring about what the fuck this dude was all about, I already knew that was sus. So that was the thing. So just reading into that situation, that's why I was kind of like leaning toward Natasha. Okay, I get it, because that don't make no sense. Why would you ask that? But if you guys already have a set amount of rapport built, you've met each other in person, things like that, that would have been a different story, because then it'd be like, okay, what's the reason for the switch up? Laila, welcome back. So I don't know how much you heard of what we're talking about, but go ahead and chime in. Let's get you. Then CJ, I don't know. You kind of been quiet over here.
I actually wanted to ask. It's going to be a bit off topic. It's going to be a bit more.
Okay. If it's off topic, let's get.
No.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. As in, it's the original topic. So I wanted to ask.
Okay. Go ahead.
Because I wanted to ask Laila, because I think, Laila, you said that you're married and that you do consider yourself to be, correct me if I'm wrong, but to be submissive in the marriage. Would you say?
Yeah, I do. Now, it took me a long time to get to that position.
Yeah.
Because
what
I
does
was
that
always
look
resistant.
like? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, tell us, CJ, what that looks like, please.
So for our family, the way that looks like is my husband is the head of our household. He goes out and goes to work, brings home money, and I'm in charge of in the home. I make most of the decisions when it comes to our kids throughout the day, because we communicate a lot about how we want to raise our kids, what they're allowed to watch. There'll be times where we disagree, but we have to sit down and have those difficult decisions. We don't always come to an agreement on everything, and sometimes I have to swallow my pride and trust that I chose a man that is has a good head on his shoulders, wants the best, has the best interest in mind for myself and for my kids. And I think that's important when you're finding a spouse, because in the early stages of our marriage, it took me a long time to trust him fully, So I think when we speak about this word submit, what does that look like? Does that look like he's better than me because he's the head of the house? No, that just means we have different roles and we have different positions and we consult one another.
And you mentioned that you guys had a conversation at some point about you telling him basically, you're not the boss of me.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
When did you guys have that conversation?
Oh, that was early on in our marriage. Really early on in our marriage. I think it has, because I got married very young. I got married and I wasn't planning on getting married. I was planning on, going to school, getting my degree in physical therapy and getting a job. But I always say that we make plans and then God makes different plans for us. So
for sure.
in that sense, I had to submit to that. And I chose to get married young. It was difficult because I feel like you don't start to really learn about someone until you're living with them, because that's when you're faced with a lot of demons that you have a lot of, inside of you, a lot of issues, a lot of things that we saw with our parents, all that stuff is inside of us, and I don't think it truly comes out until you're actually living with someone.
Right.
So I had to kind of learn, and because I remember, Natasha, earlier you spoke about your mom. She taught you to be a strong, independent woman, right? And same thing for my mom. My mom taught me that, but I had to learn that being strong didn't always mean it's my way. Being strong
Mm.
meant that you're submitting yourself, you're coming into cooperation with a man to raise children,
Yeah.
children that we hope will help change the world, will help
Yeah.
do something good for the world,
And
Yeah.
how did you guys handle disagreements? So like if he wanted to do one thing and you felt a different way, how did you guys handle that?
We're both very stubborn, so we would both, like, he would do something that would irritate me and I would do something, like, I'll give you a small example, very minute. My husband doesn't like the kids to watch, like, SpongeBob SquarePants and all that stuff.
No way.
um yeah, so, and I wasn't like, I grew up, and I'm 32, so right when I was like in high school, I think SpongeBob came out, but it was okay for my siblings to watch it. And so I never thought it was an issue. So I would let them watch SpongeBob when he would go to work, and he'd come home and my son would, like, say things from SpongeBob, and he's like, "Where's that from?" And I was like, "I have no idea. I don't know. Someone's letting them watch SpongeBob." So that's like a very small, like, example, but um, you have to learn that you have to work with another person. Even when you go to a job, when your boss tells you to do something, you can't, then go make your own decision on how you're going to do it.
Hmm.
So we got to work together.
Yeah.
So so you guys let me know if I'm kind of taking over. We on the stream yesterday, there was another lady on a video that was saying that she felt that her mom had steered her wrong because she had taught her this independence, but really she had actually taught her that men were the enemy, essentially. She had said, be independent because men are the enemy. And what it turned out was that her mom had had a series of unsuccessful relationships and, had regretted her relationships. And I think that that's where things go wrong. So in terms of talking about feminism, I agree with everyone that there are toxic aspects of feminism, the kind of extreme ends of it where that paints men as the enemy. I don't see men as the enemy. I love men. So
Hmm.
I think that what I take from feminism is a freedom that a woman can do anything that she wants. So because there are different types of women, if you want to be a homemaker, which is a very important job, you can do that. If you want to be a career woman, which is important, you can do that. So that's what I take, and I think that society adopting that understanding frees women so that we don't have to struggle with our identities, right? So that we don't have to feel like we're failing as women if we choose one thing over the other, because you can have a freedom to mix it up, be one thing, whatever your heart desires, is essentially. So that's kind of
CJ,
what I wanted
let
to.
me
Yeah.
let me jump on 2 points that CJ brought up. Now, there are no non-toxic aspects of feminism. And I'm going to tell you why. Before you guys jump down my throat, I pay attention to etymology. I pay attention to words. That's very important. Words are extremely important. And when we think that we can mix and match them and substitute one word for another, that's when we run into problems. That's when we get brainwashed. That's when we get conditioned. Feminism is toxic 100%, okay? From the F all the way to the last letter. What you're talking about, the aspects of feminism that you think are positive, have nothing to do with feminism. Those are humane aspects. The fact that you use the word feminism is where we fall into a rut. That's when you get this
Okay.
ideology that's destructive because you're going out of your way to say feminism. You're going out of your way to make a word female. Okay, and they do this a lot now in the mainstream in pop culture. You know what I'm saying? They keep replacing words and trying to implicate the word feminine into a word that used to be masculine. So, like for example, amen. They took the men out of amen. when the etymology of the word, the part where there's men in there, has nothing to do with gender, right? So the word feminism is all by design. So everything that falls under the umbrella of feminism is to destroy us. Yes, they're using tropes that we think are positive. They're using subjects that everybody can get behind. Oh, equality. We can all get behind that. But why can we all get behind that? Not because it has anything to do with gender. We all get behind equality because equality is a human trait. It's a human right. That's why we get behind it. So you saying that women should be free to choose whatever career and free to do whatever, listen, take the woman part out of it. People should be free to do what they want
I
to do.
agree.
People should be free to work. People should be able to vote. So when you put feminism in there, what you're doing is you're dividing and conquering, because you're creating a segregation. You're saying females versus males. And that's what they were intending the entire time. So I want you women to get out of your head that somewhere feminism made a left turn. Feminism may make no fucking turns. Feminism is what they wanted it to be from the beginning, from the inception. What it is it just takes a while to get there for you to see that part of it. But when they're in their little boardrooms and they're deciding what they're gonna do, their whole goal from the beginning was to divide men and women. And what they had to do was they had to instigate some conflict between the two. And it's the exact same thing that they do with racism. Okay, so the minute you start calling people black and white, that's the beginning of racism. The moment you start saying fem this, okay, that's when you start the gender war. The moment that you start separating them with words, that's when you start the gender war, or that's when you start the race war. So that's how I feel about what you brought up with feminism. So women need to stop using the word feminism altogether. Get it out of your head. Just look at yourself as a human being, and that's
hang on. Let's do this, because then I'll let you kind of rebuttal to that, CJ. But then I want to kind of pivot to something, because like two of you ladies over, Laila and Natasha, you guys both do something that kind of works with people. I'm assuming, Natasha, your work also includes kids as well. So I want to know kind of if you want to dive into that a little bit, what that's like, and how you see in terms of relations with the parents of the children you're dealing with, why it's important you guys are doing what it is you do. But go ahead, CJ. What did you have in terms of rebuttal to Allende?
I don't disagree entirely with what you're saying, Allende. I do think that there is a gender war right now. I don't know if feminism is entirely to blame for that. I do think that, like I said, I think that there are toxic elements of extreme feminism, okay? The extreme ends of feminism.
No, there's no extreme.
Okay. I think all it does, feminism, putting a word to it, it just focuses your activism. That's all it does, right? So all feminism did was put certain things in place, right? So for me, like we watched the other day this guy who said that he went after young women intentionally, young girls, I should say.
The predator alpha. Yeah.
And Duke, you gave a very impassioned, presentation on that.
Oh, I got a daughter. I got mad.
Well, exactly. And so there are countries where very, very young girls would be forced to be married to a man like that in his 50s, right? For example. And something like feminism is a reason why that doesn't happen in Western countries. It's part of reproductive
CJ, hold on
rights.
For a second. Hold on. That stopped happening in Western countries long before there was a feminism. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That has nothing to do with feminism. If they were giving little boys, if they were giving little boys to grown men, it'd be wrong. So again, proves my point. It has nothing to do with feminism. If you're giving a 12-year-old girl to a grown man to marry or have sex with or whatever, it's wrong and it's inhumane. And if you're giving a 12-year-old boy
were not
to a grown man,
I agree with you.
So
I would love
to where's the feminism part?
Allende,
so what do you say?
I would love
so what
to
do you,
just
hold on.
Let her
finish the point. You gotta let her finish.
Let her finish.
So what I'm saying is, so when you put feminism on it, what you're really saying is, oh my God, we need feminism to save these young girls. Okay, well, what about the young boys?
Allende.
You see how the labeling excludes somebody?
No,
that's what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
CJ, finish your point, please.
I mean, this is I don't want to stray too much off topic because we can talk about this all day. But Andy, like, what is the point of that argument? Males weren't marrying
If
each
you can't
other.
see the if you
No.
if
What
you
I'm saying
really gay
is,
marriage isn't hold on,
it
gay
is
marriage isn't legal?
gay marriage is a thing now, Allende, but for a long time it wasn't.
Okay,
Who
so
was
you
being
telling me in
married?
these
It was
countries, hold
males and
on.
Hang on, let her
females.
finish. Let her finish. Let her finish. Let her
Oh,
finish.
for
Let her get
God's
the
sake.
point.
Okay,
Just get your point across, CJ.
you're telling me that in these countries, you're telling
Let
me
her
that in these
finish, and then
countries
he
where they're
keeps
marrying off young
talking.
girls, there's no homosexuality? That's what you're trying to tell me?
Allende,
All right, so let's do
That's
this.
not the point.
I'm talking about sanctioned unions,
Let's
sanctioned marriage.
let's do this. Let's do this. Let's switch gears because I want to get to this video real quick. Actually, the video in question with Sister Shahrazad Ali, and she actually kind of talks about these certain situations too as well. So she kind of goes into, she talks a little bit about the agenda. She talks a little bit about what's happening with the families and why women aren't really going through with their roles. So I think it's something that we should kind of watch and comment on and see how spot on she was.
Too strong.
Let me know if you guys can hear it.
Basically, I had to take this book and take a walk, and then just start galvanizing the women and say, you don't have that big support from the house that was supposed to help to build the work up. So for the book to go through an anniversary and it's on the #1 sellers list now, is because I had to hit the pavement, and I talk about wellness every day, 7 days a week. And I dedicated myself the way that I dedicated myself to my children. I dedicated myself to my community the same way. You know, I think about a story in terms of raising my children with the same, like I felt like probably was in combat, and I was fighting against disease, but fighting for the wellness of my
Hang on.
community.
I gotta
No, I
figure
think
out
that's the wrong
what's
video.
yeah, that's the wrong audio. Hang on 1 second, fellas. 1 second. I'm like, what is happening here? Hold up 1 second. Let me pause that. What's playing? Hold up 1 second. All right. I still can't. Can you guys? Yeah, I can't. Hold up 1 second. Why is that silent?
The kitchen, the hydrotherapy from the bathroom, the living room.
It may take us as
All right,
long
there we go. Hold up. I'm hearing like multiple things.
6 if you want to tap into your supernatural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got both of them playing at the same time.
I'm trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was hearing 2 videos at one point or 2.
Yeah, me too. I'm trying to get rid of.
CJ, what is
All
it
right,
that you think
but
feminism accomplished? Name 3 things that feminism accomplished in the Western world, because you basically just told me that you think that feminism is why women have to be 18 to be married in America. So what is it that you think that feminism is responsible for accomplishing besides the vote, when it really didn't? Those people already decided they were going to give women the vote, and it was for a completely different reason. It had nothing to do with empowering women. It actually is the opposite. They did that so that they could manipulate and control women's voting behavior and habits, because women were outnumbering the men. So they knew that if they could control women's voting, then they could control all the elections therefore to come, because there were more female citizens than men, and then men were going to prison and doing other things that would lose their right to vote. So that was just
Okay,
their
so
way of controlling the
it may
outcome of
have had
elections. So what do you think that feminism accomplished?
So it may have had other intentions. It may not have been for completely good intentions, but yes, it did give women the vote. Okay,
What did it
so
do?
that's
What did
one.
it do, CJ? What do you think it did?
I'm telling
Go
you,
ahead.
aren't I? So that's one.
Mm-hmm.
2, it allowed women to enter the workforce a bit more, to enter
Women were
some
already
work.
working. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go
you gotta
ahead.
let her
They
do it.
introduced
And
affirmative
3,
action.
it
Before that, women were
allowed
already working.
it
Go
has
ahead.
allowed for things like for some more reproductive rights. So looking at things like contraception,
The reproductive rights
availability
that are
of
destroying our
Abortion.
society.
like I
That was
said,
not about liberating women. That was destroying the nuclear family. But go
you
ahead.
may have different ideas about what the
It's
intentions
not
were,
ideas. It's
but I'm
proven. It's proven. The literature is there. Go ahead.
Okay, but I will say that these are things that feminism has allowed us to accomplish. I agree with you that there
No,
are
it's
toxic
what they
aspects.
convinced you. That's what they convinced you that feminism
Ayende,
did.
I
All right, let's just
disagree with
hold
you
on,
about
hold
these
on, hold
things,
on,
and
hold
you
on, hold
already
on.
know that.
And I
So
know,
All right.
I
and
don't want us
I
to get
would wish
trapped
that
in
you
this
would go do
loop.
the research for yourself.
I'm
I would
gonna
love for
look
you to
it
do the
up.
research yourself. Okay, they were female. Hold
Mhm.
on, they were female doctors. They were female lawyers. They were female pilots long before feminism. Okay, women having the right to vote. I already told you what that was about. It had nothing to do with benefiting, liberating, helping, empowering women. It was literally the opposite. It was about controlling them. Okay, and we all know women know very little about politics, nor do they actually read into politics
I
before
have
they
a
choose
political
who they
science
vote for.
degree,
They
Ayende. I have a political science
Again,
degree.
CJ, you CJ, you always do this. You're talking about you
What
being
do
the
I
exception.
do?
I get it. Bravo. I applaud you. The
No,
average
but
woman is
when you
not.
say
The average
these
woman does not have your
sweeping,
job.
Ayende, when you say these
Because
Sorry,
the
I'm
research
sweeping,
gonna.
has been
Hold
done,
up,
sweeping,
hold up,
CJ.
hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up.
uh,
Let okay.
CJ.
I
Let's
really
do
am
this. Let's do this.
trying
Let's
for
do this. Let's
respect.
do this. Ayende, I got it. You gotta. You are kind of like low key interrupting her though. Like you gotta let her
Yeah,
finish.
Damn.
I'm
Because
so
I don't even
sorry.
like I don't even know the point she's trying to make at this point right now, and I'm trying to focus on this. So CJ, what is
Go
it
ahead,
that
CJ.
go ahead? Let's
Ayende
make
is
that.
asking me what I think feminism has accomplished. I'm answering, and he is telling me he has a different. We're never going to agree on these things. I am going to go look things up,
You
Ayende.
already answered. Right, you already answered. So I'm moving
So,
forward with what I'm saying now.
but the other thing,
So
oh
look
my
at the
God.
things you listed. I'm addressing the things you listed, right?
No, but
You
Ayende,
listed
I
that
was
they were
moving.
working.
I was.
Bro, she got to finish her point. Like she
Go
hasn't
ahead,
even made the point
Damn.
yet. She's got to make the point.
go ahead.
He ready for you. He ready for you,
He's
CJ.
looking depressed now.
He's ready for you. Go
I'm
ahead.
just
Go
because
ahead.
saying.
that's what she does. Every time I give her a chance, this is what she does. Go ahead.
No, Ayende.
Yeah, hey, CJ, just
Anyway,
get to
I
yeah.
was.
Go ahead.
Are you making the point?
I don't
Are
want
you
to
making the
go
point,
to.
CJ?
No, I'm done. So I'm happy to move on. I'm happy to
All
move
right,
on.
let's get. I think I got this video up right now. Let me know. Let me know if you guys hear something else.
Oh boy.
I'm
We're
really
enslaved.
sorry. I'm gonna
It
have
took us
to
that long
pass
to come up
our.
out of it. We haven't been free. It's been under 100 years. We don't have a big history to talk about having no freedom just because we got some football stars and basketball and Oprah and a few of those people. That doesn't mean that we're free because a few of us have figured out how to make some money. Yeah. And so our families have been so torn apart and we have been made to hate each other. And the other reasons is that every problem that the white woman has had with the white man, they have pushed those issues on us, or we have adopted those issues and decided that that was our problem too. When I keep saying we don't have nothing to do with the white woman and what she got going with her man. We trying to deal with our own. And as a result of our frustration and our anger, many of our men have left us to go to women of other nationalities because they feel like they can get
So
along with them better.
we'll
It's not
we'll kind of skip back here because we kind of like missed a little bit of what you was trying to say. But she had a point on family.
not people say you must live in the house with me. I know you must know my people, but I don't. But I know our condition from looking at many of us, talking to many of us, our men and our women and our children, our gays, our lesbians. I talked to a bunch of us from coast to coast to find out some of what's on their mind so that I could try to study what do we need to do to correct it, because corrections have been given, but we have tended to reject any truth because it's not our idea of how things should be, even though our idea ain't work.
Mm, mm, mm. Yes. Okay. So now, how important is family? I know it's important to you, and I know you already said it. But how important is family to the overall reproduction of the race?
Well, it's very important right now because our birth numbers are down. And I don't
Yeah.
know if Black people realize that. They have offered us the abortion as a form of birth
Mm,
control. And so a lot of our younger women, they just get 3 or 4 abortions a year and use it for birth control because they're offering us free. They're in our communities and a lot of things. And sometimes we don't even tell the men that we are pregnant. Or sometimes we'll go around to 3 or 4 men and tell them we pregnant, need an abortion, and collect $500 or $600 from each one of them. So we've done a lot of things about that. Uh, the structure of family has been so destroyed for us. It is really very sad. See, for many years, In fact, even right after slavery, during slavery, after slavery especially, we had more black families, more black men marrying black women, and women with the men, than we have now, because we have changed our opinion of each other. And so many things have happened to tear down our moral compass. And so one of the other things that has happened is that the enemy could.
So just to pause it real quick, because a lot of things that she's saying, she kind of gives it towards the black community, but I think it's very well widespread for a lot of people, because I think that, yeah, a lot of the stuff that we do see that's going on in the black communities right now, like the feminism, the crack, all
They
the
do it in the black
separation
community
from the
first,
father.
brother, then they spread it.
Yep, and it goes towards everyone else. So now what we're seeing is the effect of what's happening to everyone else. Now, the example that she gives was the introduction of crack into the inner cities, which helped separate the mothers from the children, because that was before that, it was pretty difficult to separate a mother from her child. But the drugs and getting people addicted made that very easy. Now, separate crack from the black community, we look at the community as a whole. We have an opioid epidemic, a pretty massive opioid epidemic that is affecting men, women, everybody at large, similar to what everyone was going through, or the black folks were going through during the crack epidemic. Now we're seeing that other communities aside from black people are getting affected with these certain toxic ideologies on how did they view their men, because a lot of these things she's mentioning are very similar. But does anyone else have anything to add to her point up in this point?
Well, I like that she pointed out, separate the mother from the child, because I try to point this out to people all the time. It's going over their head. The core of their plan for destroying the nuclear family, because when you say that to people, they're like in disbelief, because they're like, why would someone want to destroy family? It's like, okay, pay attention. What are people? People are adults that at one point in time were children. We're all products of our childhood. The way we think, what we sit here and argue passionately with no information, no facts, and no experience is shit that we were told when we were kids. So the government knows this. They understand that the best way to get to someone's psychology is to get them young. So what they do is they say, okay, we got to get the kids to ourselves. So what they do is they first divide the parents. Let's get the dad out of the house. The dad leaves the house for work, but he comes home every day. How do we get him to stay away? Well, we'll sit here and give the woman money if she doesn't have an adult male living with her, and we'll offer her just enough money. We'll offer her a little bit more annually than what the husband would be bringing in on average. And that should be enough to incentivize her to raise her children alone as a single mother. Okay, we got that accomplished. Perfect. Okay, now, since the cost of living is going up, women now need more money to run a single parent household. So what do the women start doing? The women start going to work. Now we're going to praise women for going to work. Okay, we're going to encourage women to go be boss babes and all that other shit. And guess what happens to those kids? They're alone acceptable to the state. Now the state can indoctrinate them, okay, with free education. Why did they give us free education? They give us free education because that's their opportunity to start brainwashing our children. Once they get the mom and dad out of the picture, nobody's coming to parent-teacher day. That's when we can program the kids with all this bullshit we want to put in their head. So that's what it's always been about. Get the dad out the way, get the mom out the way, and get the kids to yourself.
Let's get it to Natasha. How would she said in terms of how and you too, Laila, how it relates to what you're seeing with kids that you're working with or dealing with the practice and the sports, and then with your work too as well, Natasha. How do you see that playing through? But before you guys go, Bernie L, shout out to you for the $50 super chat. Thank you very much. That should get Duke up. Hey, if y'all see what we working on for y'all, man, I'm telling you, man, I appreciate it. Yes, we will go into getting premium internet, so y'all, we would stop having these different slowdowns. But shout out to you, thank you so much. So, let's start with you, Laila. What are your thoughts on that? How does you see what's happening right now with the communities and how it's affecting kids that you see or the parents you see on a daily basis?
Yeah, I 100% agree with Ayende. There's so many things to say about this. There is an agenda behind all of this. Separate the mother from the child. I can say for myself, just by me being present in the home, I'm able to monitor what my children are watching, what they're taking in. I have to watch shows with them. I have to be there teaching them lessons, because that's how you break a family. You separate the mother from the children. You get why is I wanted to ask CJ, why is it so important to call yourself a feminist?
Actually,
Why do a lot of women feel
yeah.
like feminism needs to be something that we attach to our identity?
Do you
Why
know
is
what,
it so
Layla?
important?
I was actually going to say that I actually I actually don't think that the label is important at all. So that's the funny thing. I actually don't. In this modern time, I think that feminism has achieved most of the positive things that I think it can achieve. Sure, people might argue that there might be other things left to do, but I actually see no need for the label at all. I think as a society, we can just decide together what we think is valuable or not valuable to put in place for everyone. So I don't label myself a feminist. I was just pointing out that I feel that there have been some positive aspects of early feminism, but acknowledge that there are toxic
That's
aspects of
value in the label,
later.
though, and that's what I was trying to say to you.
I
Go
think
ahead,
that
that's
there
why
CJ.
it's important that I think it's important that Ayende asked that question, because
Mhm.
it's something for us to reflect on. It's
Yeah.
something that we all have to reflect on.
So
And
let's
that's the
go.
thing. So I'm all about not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So all I was pointing out was that historically, I think there was a role or a place for feminism. Do we need the form of feminism that exists right now? Probably not. Are there
Mm.
very toxic aspects, like hearing women say terrible things about men, calling men the enemy? I am against that. So that was all I was kind of highlighting there, and that type of
Mm.
early feminism
I agree
has
with
a
you,
has a
CJ. I'm just
role
trying
has
to
a
tell
role
you, you
in
have
some
to
other
break away from the
Hold
parts
on,
of
let her
the
world.
let her
world,
finish. Let her finish.
and that early feminism that we have accomplished here, or that has accomplished what it's done in the West, that it might have a role in other parts of the world, right? So that's why I'm careful not to throw it away completely. Do you see what I mean?
Feminism didn't accomplish those things, is what I'm trying to tell you, CJ.
All right.
Okay? It's the
and
same
and
thing as civil rights. The civil rights movement didn't accomplish what you think it did. Those were already things they decided to do. They're manipulating us. They're putting it under the banner so that you fall in love with the civil rights rather than just feel that these people need to be treated equally and accordingly. Them putting the label there was for a reason, and that reason is obviously working because you just contradicted yourself when you said, no, I don't consider myself a feminist, and I'm not valuing the label, but at the same time, you're saying feminism did these good things. That's valuing the
I
label.
didn't.
So that's what
But
I'm
No.
here's
trying
the
to
thing,
What
you
is
also
wait?
Ayanda,
confuse you. So
you can
hold
you can
on,
have,
hold
but
on,
here's the
both,
thing, but
both, both let me finish so
you
that she
can,
gets it.
bro, yeah,
Because
but
CJ thinks I'm against her. I'm not against
no,
her.
she doesn't think you're against her though. She agrees with you. My thing is this.
This is
All
the
right.
thing.
So I think you can have both positive and negative views about feminism. I think so. I think it's one of those things. Just like any movement, it runs away from you, and then people just take their ideas, take their frustrations, and they dump it into a movement that they attach their umbilical cords to. And that's the
Okay,
situation we're having.
dude.
Because what we're seeing is, hang on. We got a lot of guys or a lot of women who latch onto this movement, and most of them, they're not healthy in the sense of mindset. They've either had some negative experiences with men. Some of them probably were touched or done. Something was done to them when they were younger, and they're venting on us frustrations. And when they get into these positions of leadership, then you have these coordinations where, okay, now it no longer becomes about that, and now it becomes about securing more and more rights. And there's this never-ending struggle that women always have to go through, and that's what it's kind of turned into. Rather than empowering women, it's basically kind of creating victimhood in a way. But I want to get to Natasha because I wanted Laila and Natasha's
Okay,
point to this. So let's have Natasha go real quick on her point, and then we'll have Sophia, and then you can kind of close that all out.
Okay, so I don't actually work with children. My role is more corporate and more with adults. However, I can see some of the struggles within the corporate world in terms of the feminist talk, in terms of our women's networks. I don't know if you guys have networks in the US, but in the UK, staff networks are a really big thing. They help to guide, and they help to collaborate staff with managers in order to achieve the wider vision. So I can't really comment further on feminism because yeah, I have to stay impartial. However, I can see some of the struggles. But going back to the video and the points made, Sophia, I'm sure you'll agree. I don't think in the UK it's like that. I think mothers have a lot of rights. Generally, mothers have a lot of rights in terms of if there's a relationship and one person's going to get custody of the kids, it's usually the mother in the UK. I think fathers tend to be at a disadvantage in the UK. In terms of drugs, from what I've observed and from what I've seen, I don't think it's like the US. I think families here have very different challenges, socioeconomic challenges. Violence is a very big thing here. But yeah, in terms of the family, sorry, go on, Sophia.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think there are issues with drugs.
Yeah.
None of that's any different here in the States. I don't know why. It's not different here. It's exactly the same. Everything you just said is exactly the same here.
Okay. Well, what I mean is in terms of like, I think here it's, from what I know, so I used to do children's nursing. So from what I know, this is my very limited knowledge. From what I know, the things I've observed is it tends to be a lot of violence that causes the family unit to break down here. But I know drugs can play a part in it. However, I can't speak on that because I don't know enough to speak on it. But in terms of violence, I do know that's one major factor as to why family units break down. I think our healthcare system and our social care system, I do think they try their best. I do think they're heavily under-resourced, and I do think they tend to have the family unit in mind when dealing with challenges. And I can only say this from what I've observed. So this is just my personal experience. I can't speak on any other experience. But from working in children's nursing, the things that I observed is that they did want to keep families together as much as they could. However, due to resources and due to other factors, they're not always able to. I think in the UK, I don't think there is an agenda to break the family up. I think generally they try their best to keep that family unit together. Prime example, during the pandemic, a lot of organizations were giving out free laptops, free computers for underprivileged kids so that they can be homeschooled, so that they don't have to worry about that, just to make the family unit a bit easier. But again, I have very limited knowledge on that, so that's my 2 pence worth.
Guys, quick announcement. Sophia, I don't know if you've gone yet, but I'll let you go right after this. Call in, the link's right in there. We're gonna spend the last 20 minutes here. If you guys have any questions on the topics, you got questions for Natasha, anyone on the panel, you go ahead and feel free to call in or continue on the discussion that we're having right now, because it's getting good. I like it. I like what we're doing. So go ahead, Sophia. Call in. It's in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, so kind of similar to Natasha, I had experience working on a neonatal unit, so newborn babies and such. Part of my role was dealing with the social issues that families have when they come into the hospital. So it was a case of some kids would be born with warnings saying, you know, there's social issues here, there's violence or drugs or whatever involved, and you'd have to have a social worker. And after reading a lot of the issues that were going on, some was down to drugs, yes. I don't know if we have the same level of opioid epidemic as the US, just because different drug supplies to different continents, you know. But there is definitely a drug problem in the UK. It does definitely affect families. I think more so stuff that's widely available, like alcohol, is one thing that really people, I don't know, don't consider much, but it is something that impacts families. And yeah, I think that the UK government, unless I've been blind to it, I don't know if I've seen them try to sort of separate families, but there are places where it's lacking that could do better for keeping families together. So for instance, more money into the social care system or the healthcare system, more support for families that do have troubles with things like addiction. I mean, the thing is, stuff like that at the moment is not treated as a health issue. It's not treated as a mental health issue. It's just treated as sort of criminal activity. So your kids are taken away from you essentially as soon as they spot any of the social issues. So going from what Natasha said, the violence thing is quite real. There's a lot of domestic violence happening. There was a lot of babies where the fathers were not allowed to come and see the child because of stuff that has happened, threats that have been made. And so, yes, there was a lot of that. I think there might still be an issue with sort of having a strong household here. I don't think it's kind of across the board, to be honest. I think there are still a lot of families struggling that are separated. They are not together. They're not in the same home. I think there is more that could be done to do that. And I don't think it's right for families to be separated, no matter what country you're in, you know. So, yeah, it's interesting. There's slight differences, but I agree with it. Yeah, sorry.
I was going to ask you a question on that. So now a lot of things that you hear in society right now, especially with some of these new age dating spaces, they're almost kind of, well, it's not almost kind of, they're putting the blame on women, right? So, and you're saying, okay, the reason why we don't have families or families are not together to the degree that they are right now is because of women. Because if you want to talk about the household and all that, you know, we're supposed to be taking care of it. Now, let's even just go to the Black community for a second, how they were talking about how governments and the intervention of that with the welfare state and all that, how they incentivized women to basically say, all right, this is the independence, we're independent from men, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. So in your thoughts, and I want to get to the ladies on this panel too before we get to the callers, but what would you agree, do you disagree, do women bear a certain level of responsibility in the kind of dynamic that we have right now?
Somewhat. I think somewhat. Like I don't know, the current dynamic I don't think is just down to one specific gender. I think it's everyone just not doing things in the right way. I mean, to blame a specific gender on it, to blame men or to blame women is a bit silly, because we're all capable of mistakes. We're all capable of fucking up a family. You know, it's not that it's not entirely down to gender. I understand why men would do that, but yeah, I think it's more so down to externalized issues, stuff like addiction and things like that can impact people, and then families end up getting separated because of that. Like I don't think it's just down to women being how they are. That might be part of the issue, but I don't think it's the entire issue. I think there's a lot of aspects to it that are overlooked, and I can feel INA brewing right now. please
No.
go
I was reading the super chat, man. People contradict themselves in their own statement, but go ahead.
Yeah, no,
we'll get to that super chat in a second.
Just let me know the timestamp. Go ahead, Sophia.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I don't think it's just women. I think that both parties have a part to play. But yes, I think that kind of attitude, you know, the strong, independent woman, I don't need a man, that's misguided. Like that's a bit silly. Like you can't run a household singularly to the most efficient standard. We all know this. You need support in the form of a partner, and even several family members as well. You need a support group there.
I was just about to say that. It's not even mom and dad. It's everybody. It's the whole family.
Yeah, it takes a village to raise a child. It's not just. And so when you've got families that are separated, I've come from a home that was separated, and I just had my mum for a while until she had my stepdad. And there's a lot of burden placed on one person. And when you've got a lot of burden placed on one person, it's like any kind of pressure, any kind of stress and stuff impacts how they behave. And then that rubs off on the children and so on and so forth. So by being able to maintain some kind of stability by having both adults there or other family members to support you is important. You can't just bring a child into this world and think, oh yeah, I'll just do it all by myself, it's fine. Yes, it's possible, but it's not the best option. And it's been proven scientifically that kids that are from single parent households do not do as well later on in life as the ones that have come from households with two parents. So, like, speaking sort of psychologically speaking, it was just kind of a null argument. You know, yes, you can be strong and independent, but that doesn't mean you don't need someone.
Why is it that women can accept that anywhere else, though? Why women can accept that concept anywhere else, but they can't accept it in their house? If you tell a woman, hey, cars are better with 4 wheels, they can accept that. Yeah, that makes sense. 4 wheels would be better. Hey, bicycles are better with 2 wheels. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I can see how you need 2 wheels to ride a bicycle. Yeah, children need 2 parents. Oh, no, I don't need no man to raise a child.
Could I
why is it that when something like that, they logic can't get through?
Could I interject?
Go ahead, Natasha.
Yeah, go ahead, Natasha.
I think, like, going back to the whole challenges in the UK, I think violence plays a big role in that. I think a lot of women who have escaped from domestic violence, they just don't want to put themselves and their family back in that situation. So they would rather stay single and just look after their children than go back into that situation. There's always different reasons.
But that's not the majority of single parent households, though. The majority of single parent households isn't drugs, it isn't violence, it isn't domestic violence. I mean, we hear women say that all the time. They also use that argument for abortion. Oh, well, you know, if a woman gets raped, she should be able to abort the child. It's like, dude, that's less than 1% of abortions is because someone was sexually assaulted. So why are we resting that entire practice on the 1%?
I think society.
Go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, I agree. I don't agree with blaming and shaming single mothers or single parents, because there are all kinds of different reasons for why people are single parents, right? What I will say is that we should emphasize how hard it is. It is extremely difficult to raise a family on your own. It was not meant to be that way. Like you guys have said, in fact, it's supposed to be a whole village. That's the whole saying, right? A village raises a child, emphasizing how challenging it is. And so I do think that for whatever all the there are some women out there now, because of reproductive technologies, because of economic advancements, there are women out there now who are saying, I'm going to go have a child on my own. I don't have a partner. I'm just going to do this because I can. My biological clock is ticking. Now, I have my personal opinion is that I would not do that, because it is very hard to be a single parent, right? But I don't think that that's the mindset of most people. I don't think that most people plan to be single parents. It happens, right? But I do think going forward, we should emphasize. I do think going forward, we should emphasize it's hard. Like, you all, like, think twice before you do this, you know, contraception, all this stuff. It's important. Yeah.
I think there's become a culture of, like, women that have I think what Ayende is trying to get at is the fact that there's some women that are saying, like, oh, I don't need a man, I can just do this by myself, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I think that's what he's referring to. And, you know, I mean, yes, that's the attitude that we kind of need to adjust, but how do we go about that? So that's the question.
Yeah, I agree.
Primal, welcome to the stream, buddy.
Hey guys, hey ladies, everybody, appreciate you all. It's been really good content. I guess as a man, would you even go for a woman that has the attitude of I don't need no man? Why even bother with that? There are women out there that don't have that stance.
Right, but not everybody got the snip like you. So what happens is a lot of guys are just hooking up with a girl like that. She pulls the goalie and doesn't say anything, and now you're on the hook for child support. So it's not like guys say, oh, that's how you feel about it? I'm definitely getting you pregnant. That's not how that works.
As the general of your army, you need to be in control of all your troops. So you can't be having misfires.
Hold on, I agree, but you're making the same mistake that CJ makes all the time, which is thinking that everybody in your gender is as reasonable and responsible as you. CJ constantly thinks the average woman is as intelligent as she is, as responsible as she is, that she's disciplined as she is.
I don't think we should be making don't generalize.
So no, it's not personal. No, it's not personal attacks.
We're like siblings.
Bumping heads. When I'm talking,
time out. Let me preface this. I gotta preface this. No. real talk. They actually we're it's all family here. Like that. CJ, it is like it's love. It's all love.
No, we're good. But what it is that I just need people to understand that you can't reach on the top shelf and get stuff with ease because you're 6'4" and then complain that other people can't do it. You have to understand it. You're 6'4". The average person is 5'7". Okay, so it's the same thing with CJ. It's like, yeah, I get it. You're into political science. The average woman has no knowledge of politics. They only know what they see on the TV and what they're told. They don't know anything about the history of politics.
My
They don't
issue,
really
Allende, is I
vet
think that
these
you're
candidates or
wrong.
anything like that.
But
My-
I look at the numbers before I say these things. So what I'm trying to tell you is that most women that are single mothers, it's not because the father of their child is an alcoholic, drug addict, criminal, anything like that. Most women today are choosing to be single mothers. I know this because I read the research, and I know this because I ask women constantly. I'm talking to women early 20s, extremely early 30s, and I'm asking them the same questions because that's how I get percentages. If I ask 100 women the same question, it's really easy to log how many of them answer in any which way, and then I could just look at that data and say 47% said this, X% said this. So what
I
I'm telling you is
agree.
that you would not do that. You believe that you need two parents. You believe you need to be married first. You believe all these things. I do too. I share all the same values and sensibilities. The problem is I understand that majority of young people today do not see it that way. Majority of guys are not animate about being married before they have kids. And majority of women nowadays are not animate about keeping the guy around. That's the majority.
I agree with that. I think that it's a mix of hookup culture. Okay, so there's a lot of casual sex, right? And I do think
But
that a lot of people do not family plan, so people don't think before they get pregnant and bring kids into the world. I do think there is that culture.
Exactly.
so it goes back to Natasha, right? Because we want to talk about ways to kind of rebuff this. I think it does have the ownership has to go on us, right? Because Natasha, when you were talking about the dude talking about your bra size, that is a perfect way to segue to say, hey, listen, I'm not into that. This is not me. I'm gonna go do something else. If you find another girl that's all about that, fine. And I think that that clear means of communication that just needs to start happening more. Men just need to start stating what it is that you want out of a woman and not be afraid of what the answer might be, right? And then women, there's no need to be kind of going under the radar to get a guy to figure out what it is that you want, because he's not gonna figure it out without you clear communicating with them. So now, in your opinion, and I want to ask the ladies, and then we'll get more people and kind of open it up here. But do you think that more women, or let's start with this, are more women currently communicating clearly to men on what this is, or should more women actually, let's start with that, are more women actually communicating to men on what it is that their needs are, or the other way around, which is perpetuating this hookup culture that we're seeing right now? So let's start with Natasha, to go to CJ, Sophia, then we'll open it up to Primal and Allende.
I think it takes a lot of emotional intelligence to understand what it is that you want. Even just basically from yourself, like just to understand what you want, yet alone what you want from someone else, is a huge, huge task. And I think a lot of people don't invest that time in themselves, and I think a lot of people don't invest that time to figure out what they want. They kind of just go out there and go, I just want someone who will treat me right. But it's like, what does that look like? What are the characteristics of that? What are the values of that? Or I want someone who will spoil me. What are the characteristics? What does that look like? I just don't think people really identify that. It's kind of like, from what I know from my friends and even myself in the past, it's very wishy-washy. But I think with age, and I think with experience, and I think with maturity, and I think with work, I've now come to a stage where I know exactly what it is that I want. I know where I can compromise. I know where I don't want to compromise. And I can articulate it as well. And I can articulate it very early on to say, you know what, this is what I'm looking for. If it sounds like something that you can offer, if it sounds like something that you're looking for as well, then let's speak. If not, then thank you for your time. On to the next one.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sophia. No, I'm sorry, CJ. And then Sophia,
No,
and then
I
we'll
mean,
open it up.
I think everyone. I don't want to. I shouldn't say everyone because I hate overgeneralizing. But I think hookup culture is the trend of the day, right? So I think a lot of people will have sex early in their dating experience, right? Even if the relationship is gonna go far or not, right? So that's just a reality of things. So I that's why I push contraception so that people think about these things. If you're gonna do it anyway, just make sure you use contraception. And then as people are having kids later in life, or as women are getting older, a lot of women do say, "Hey, I'm 30 something. I don't have a long-term partner, but I really want a kid. My biological clock is ticking. I think I can just do this on my own," right? So, what do we think about that? Yes, she might have the financial means to do it, but
Mhm.
should she do it? That's a very personal question. People will have different ideas of the answer. I have my own thoughts about that, but so it's just a different society that we're living in, a different time that we're living in right now. So I wonder though. I'll move on to Sophia, but I do wonder if it's gonna make a difference in terms of what is being taught in some of the male or men's improvement spaces, where I do notice that it's about getting to the vagina. It's about getting the box, right? So is
Yeah,
it going to change it?
the bra size question. That's where that
It's
came
it
from.
no, actually it's more about protecting yourself. That's how women perceive it. The male spaces, the red pill community is not about getting laid. That's the hookup culture. That's the what you call it, artist sphere. Red pill was never about that. MGTOW was never about that. What those spaces are about is protecting yourself from dealing with women and the dangers of women. So we need to be clear on that. Women like to assume they understand what men are doing and why we're doing what we're doing and saying what we're saying. So let me correct you on that so you're not misinterpreting it. It is not about getting the pussy. That is
Why do you got
only
to take it there,
the
and they
pickup.
just say it's not about that?
No, it's not.
Damn.
No, it's not. No, it's not about taking it. It's not about taking it there. It's so that women are clear, because women collectively make that misunderstanding about the quote unquote red pill community. All they say is, "Oh, you hate women, and all you're trying to do is sleep with women." That's not what it's about. What they're
Well, to be
saying is,
fair,
don't put yourself in a situation where you're gonna fuck up your life because you're trying to have more than just
but
sex with a woman.
Allende, won't you agree though that there's some people in this space that kind of make it about just getting laid rather
Yes,
than the
right,
original idea? Okay, so I
right.
think that's where she was trying to
That's a
get at. Like,
problem.
and
That's
yeah,
a
we need to
problem.
call that
But
out,
that's
and
not
that's
what
the
it's
thing we need
about.
to call
That's
out.
not what it's about.
Right,
It's about
right. But then
It's about protecting yourself, and you shouldn't have to protect yourself from women.
right.
Women shouldn't be so damn dangerous to the common day man. That's a shame that women are that dangerous to the average man.
I think
But
I think they
that's the
fear that.
ideology.
Oh my
That's the
God.
ideology that they're talking about, though. Like these guys, these hard and CJOJ, do not be like just what I call them hardliners. I call them hardliners because let's just be real. Like just like Allende said, there are a lot of things in the red pill community that I do agree with. But what I
Hmm.
don't agree with is these hardliners. Some of the ones that think that women are all this or kind of put people in the boxes. Some kind of I call them the Donovan Sharps and the Fresh and Fit crowd,
Yes.
right? Rollo Tomasi, the little Bible shit they read. Those are red pill
Mm-hmm.
hardliners that
That's
believe in
the
these
money.
absolute truth and the doctrine. So these guys right now, they're the ones who are dominating this space and
Hmm.
making the red pill look like what it is versus what it isn't, right? And then we got another live coming up with Kevin Ray Wilder, but we're having that conversation before that where we were talking about the white pill, right? Now there's too many goddamn pills out here. Y'all
Yeah.
need to stop these pill popping and go fucking out in the real world. But like they were talking about the white pill basically being based off the red pill principles, but not having these toxic dating ideas where women or men are putting women in these boxes and whatnot. So Sophia, go ahead and add to that point, and then we'll open it up for the last 10 minutes. All right, with everybody else backstage, we're gonna bring you guys up. And then we'll open it up and we can kind of continue on this topic, see what we can do, boys versus girls, however we want to do that,
Yeah,
and then we can go from there.
repeat the question. Repeat the question for Sophia.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, so we're talking about basically, I mean, the whole, I mean, it was basically just spinning off of the red pill ideology and whatnot, and the toxicness of it. So, I mean, what
No,
are your
before
first of all,
that, before that, you asked both CJ and
Natasha.
Natasha specific
Natasha?
question. Yeah, sorry, my girlfriend's name is Natalia. I'm sorry. Specific question about communicating the beginning of the relationship, women and men both being upfront about what it is that they want. That was the question.
Oh, right. Yeah. So communication, do you think that more women should be upfront, straightforward in terms of communication? And in terms of because that's a good point, because even with these games that everyone's saying that women play, it's just the lack of communicating clearly and one side assuming that the other side is going to guess what the other person's thinking. So do you think that people should be more straightforward, more upfront? And by people, I mean more women, and then guys the exact same way. What are your thoughts, Sophia?
I think guys are sort of fairly upfront. I mean, you can kind of judge that by the dude that Natasha had that interaction with the bra size. It's quite straight to the point. I think women do need to be more upfront about what they're feeling, what they want. I think what happens, especially to a lot of young women, is you know, you can get blindsided by someone and you just go along with it because, like, I think Kayende made this point earlier, or someone made this point earlier, but it was like, you know, the dude is hot, so I'll go along with it, sort of thing. And I think it kind of exacerbates the problem where, you know, there is this hookup culture, there is this stuff going on. I don't think women are as upfront as they could be sometimes, but yeah, if I'm honest, I don't know what would make it any better at this point.
Can I sorry.
Can I jump in? Can I jump in?
Hold on. Let me get KS's super chat real quick. KS, thank you for the $5 super chat. A lot of knowledge we learn need to be revisited. Life is the school, absolutely. And our goal is to bring all this stuff back, man. Because I'm telling you guys right now, dating didn't used to be this complicated at all, man. It really didn't. Even when I was growing up, it never was this complicated. If I see a girl I liked, you know, I'd go up and, you know, say something to her. I actually didn't really care if I was goofy. I didn't care what the fuck she thought about it. I just knew that I wanted her at the time. And then, you know, if it didn't work out, it didn't work out, but at least I knew. But nowadays, you know, you got all these games and all these damn books and all these other things where the knowledge is kind of lost along the way, and it's been bastardized to almost be like, well, I want, how many box can I get, right? How much rotation can I put together? Oh, ladies, you guys are putting rotations together too, and you guys need to do it. I had a very insightful stream with Steve the Dean Williams. All right, those of you guys don't know, Steve the Dean Williams, he's a friend of the show, a part of the show, and what he's done is he's been around this red pill spaces. Now he's not, you ask him, he wouldn't consider himself red pill, but he's been around long enough to see kind of the transition of how this stuff came to be, to the point where it stopped being about, you know, self-improvement for guys and all this stuff, and it started being about how to get the box, how to chase it. So it's almost like guys nowadays, they've taken this idea and put the box and chasing women for the wrong reasons up here versus their overall being, and then having the woman that they really want drawn to them. It's almost like, well, who can sleep with the most people wins, which I don't think that's supposed to be the case. But let's open it up.
Can I disagree with one of those points and also shed some light on what you're saying? As far as the guys trying to get as much box as they can and trying to create the rotation, and then women doing the same thing, listen, time out. You can't put that in the same category. Men doing that is extremely healthy. In fact, that's how, let me finish, CJ. And that's how you develop healthy, confident men that are going to stay in the house and be able to commit to one woman. We actually have a saying, sow your own oats. The reason why we have that saying is because guys need to get that out of their system, and there's a lot of benefit in that. It's not just casual, reckless sex. You also learn a lot about women. You learn a lot about what it is that you want. You learn how to be better at leading them. You learn how to be better at sensing their feelings. So you become a better lover. You become a better husband.
Can you not do that with one person, though?
No, you can't. As a man, you cannot, because
you
what
can't do
happens
it once your dick fall off.
No, you can't. Okay. Time out.
Because you have to learn from different people for many different things, right? Would you just go to one master of something to learn something? No. You would go pick out multiple.
Hold up. Let me line this up real quick. Let me line this up real quick.
That is a convenient ass truth.
Hold No, but
All right, we'll have time
out.
out. We got all the ladies on one hand over here and all the guys on the other hand over here. So let's let's actually open this topic up on this for the next 10 minutes, and then we're gonna close it out. All right. Shout out to you, Dangerous. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Shout out to Duke. Bring it on, folks. Different voices and perspectives are not heard nowadays. That's absolute facts, and especially in the space where you have these hardline and red pill guys joining in and like bastardizing the whole process. Y'all got to understand the reason why we have this show, the reason why we're speaking out and having these separate voices and having women come on and basically say, okay, this is what it's like dating for us and things like that, is because precisely this is the perspective that we are missing nowadays. Guys, I don't think you guys understand this, all right? These are the younger guys who are coming into the space. Guys and girls, let's just face it, are coming in from a place of vulnerability, right? And we don't. When you have them learning these topics and then having them put women into these different categories, they're gonna buy into it wholeheartedly, and they're gonna go into it with a lot of emotions, and they're not gonna make the best decision when they're dealing with the woman if they with them. Like Natasha said, asking for the bra size. You don't know. Let's say if you had that going, it would have went smooth. You never know what that relationship would have gone, right? So you can't make this stuff all about getting sex, all right? Because if you're making it all about getting sex and then turn around and say there's no good women out there, it just doesn't make any sense, right? If she doesn't fuck you on the first date, doesn't mean you dump her or say that she's gonna fuck somebody else. That doesn't make any sense, all right? She could have something going on. She might not be that girl, but doesn't mean you got to ghost her or do anything like that. It's all about learning the other perspectives. Sometimes shit just happens. Just because you don't get the box now doesn't mean you're not going to get it later type of deal. So this space needs a perspective from women, and not the kind of perspective we're seeing currently where women are just being shouted at and being kicked off panels on certain shows that I know, or just being talked down to in a condescending manner in other shows, or sometimes just on other panels that are not even having the right kind of conversations. We want to have those conversations that are real. Thank you, Dangerous, for the $5 super chat. Let's open it up, guys.
May I ask?
Go ahead, CJ.
May I ask Allende and
Allende, let her talk.
No. I was just gonna say, Allende. I think it's
with the point that I made.
No. It's in. I was about to say it's in line with what you're saying.
Chat about something else.
Allende, I know you love your boyfriend.
Jana. So I was gonna ask Primal and Allende a question. So okay, fine. So men need a certain amount of experience before they settle down. Okay, so maybe we can accept that. Now, and you guys talk about all these options that women have. You just open your DMs or you just open your whatever IG, and there's just all these men. Yeah, you know what? I had that experience before I got into a long-term relationship. Many guys, but no, everyone wants to just bang you and leave. Nobody wants a serious thing. So then there's this narrative about being a woman who has been ran through, in quotation marks. If I slept with all those guys that only wanted me for sex, I would have been ran through, in quotation marks, and then been deemed by the community as a leftover. So then how do we reconcile these things? If all these guys are going out to get all this experience, and then they're going out to all these women for that, how do you then not become a woman who has been run through? How do you then not become a single mother? If we're saying have hoes in different area codes, how do we?
CJ.
And I'm willing. And I'm willing to hear. I'm willing to accept that men have to. That maybe guys have to get it out of the system before they settle down. But how do we put all these things together? That's my question.
That's why you should let me finish before you ask your question, because I was going to cover all of that. All right. So anyway, you brought up music and hoes in different area codes. Exhibit had a song, and the premise of the song. The girl hated the fact that he had been with all these other women. And the point that he was trying to make in the song is, yeah, but it was all those other women why you love me so much. It's why the sex is so
I just say, I wasn't referring to the song. I was referring to a previous, I just want to say, I wasn't referring to the song. I was referring to a previous live that we had with Steve the Dean on this platform. That's what I'm saying. And he said,
what you gotta understand, CJ, Steve the Dean comes from the perspective of game. So he comes like the kind of game in terms of dealing with women, right? So that's his perspective. And obviously I agree with his perspective because actually it's right? His version of game is paying attention to the woman, right? And it's something that's missing because a lot of guys right now they think, well, I just got to be macho man alpha, and then the woman's all of a sudden just gonna fall in line, not realizing there's an art to pursuing women, right? That means paying attention to what she is. So that's what it is. I think that's what Steve the Dean is all about. But go ahead, Allende.
So what I'm trying to say is that women like when men can teach them things. They like when men can expose them to new ideas, new concepts, new places, all this type of stuff. I'm not talking about just sex. Now, where do you think this type of confidence and experience with women comes from? It comes from dealing with many different women in your youth, right? Also knowing what type of colognes, how to dress, what type of haircut, how to have your beard, all these type of things. So having a lot of experience with different women, the same woman isn't going to help you. I'm sorry. Learning the same woman's G-spot and the same woman's favorite compliment and the same woman's favorite, breakfast to make her, it's not going to work, okay? Because it only works if you marry that woman, okay? So guys getting that experience is good, and it also gets that promiscuity out of their system. That way, when the time comes, they can say, you know what? I'm ready to settle down. I'm bored with running out here in these streets behind these chicks. I'm bored with hooking up with different chicks. I'm bored with validating different women. Now I'm ready to build. Now I'm ready to put all this energy, focus, time, and attention and money into one woman and build a legacy. And that's a guy that's far less likely to want to cheat on his wife if she's doing everything that she needs to do as a wife. Now let's turn the table and put women in that same position. You get the opposite effect. They lose the ability to pair bond and stay faithful and committed to one man. Okay, it doesn't build them up mentally, it breaks them down mentally. It doesn't build them up emotionally, it destroys them emotionally. Do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't build up their self-esteem, it tears down their self-esteem. It's all the opposite. A guy being with many different women builds self-esteem. A female being with many different men, it makes her self-esteem non-existent. Now, to answer CJ's question about how do you get out of that, first of all, nobody told you you had to be the one sleeping with the multiple people. That's my point. The women shouldn't be. Women should be getting better at vetting men. Women should be better at seeing how much time can I spend with this guy? How many dates can I go on with him? How well can I get to know him before it comes to sex? And what do I need to be doing to keep said man's interests for that period of time? Now, as far as you shaming men for not wanting anything more than sex, I'm sorry, baby, but if women aren't offering anything more than sex, if there's nothing more than sex that has any value to the dude, why would he? Women keep wanting men to behave a certain way and want certain things and like certain things just to appease them. Why would a guy,
you just said two things.
Hold on. Why would the guy be interested in more than just sex if he doesn't see value in relationships in general in the modern day? And again, I'm not speaking for me. I'm speaking for the majority. I have a woman, okay? But majority of guys, okay, especially in their 20s right now, and lots of guys that are in their 30s, especially guys that have been divorced, they see no value in a relationship right now. And that's simply because there's nothing that they get out of it that they don't get out of just casual flings. Right? What they get is headache. They get stress. They have to pay for things. They have to worry about if she's going to do this, that, and the third. There's a whole bunch of negative risks that they are, and there are not benefits. This is why they keep saying the juice isn't worth the squeeze. But I'm sorry, I can't argue with that logic because, see, me personally, there's things that I have in my relationship where for me, it's worth it. My girl isn't the average girl, first of all, right? So, but most women, put it this way, if it wasn't her, I'd be single. And I wouldn't be casual either because I already
will be again soon.
I would be neither. I would just not be interacting with women. And I've done that at many times. I've just been celibate. I haven't been dealing with women at all because I don't see the value in the casual sex.
All right, let's open it up.
Okay, open it up. Jesus Christ.
Hey, so I date a lot.
You're gonna say something more insightful. Go ahead.
I date a lot. And I just want to bring it back to how do you find out what somebody's looking for? And Natasha, you hit it on the head. Most people don't do the self-reflection and dig within themselves to find and know what they're really looking for. So if you're going to lead a relationship successfully, and I've had lots of success with this, very early on, as the man or as the woman, you need to just ask that person, what are you looking for? What is it you're looking for out of this? If you don't, you are missing the boat. I ask that question every time before I even meet somebody for the first time. Hey, what are you looking for? Okay, Then they'll, you know what they do? They ask me, oh, okay, I should ask you what you're looking for. And then I say, hey, if that's not a match, then let's just not even meet up. It's very simple. Like people want to overcomplicate this, and it's not hard at all. It's just it's
Agreed.
yes.
Yeah.
I did want to say that I was just saying that in my dating experience, there were many guys who just wanted sex. So will in this date and time, will a guy accept not having sex with you for the first 10 dates? Do you know what I mean? While you get to know them, should we be
So
encouraging women not to
Here's
have
the
sex?
thing.
do you want me to keep
Uh,
it 100
can
with
I-
you?
Primal, hold on. Let me get this in real quick. CJ, yes, but for you, yes, but that doesn't mean other girls he's dealing with at the time of dealing with
Yeah.
you, he's gonna have to stick with it. I'm gonna just say
Yeah.
I've done that, but like it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, especially if you date a lot, it's like, okay, if one girl says this is how it is, all right, I'm gonna put you in this category, and you're gonna be the girl I'm gonna go steady with, and we're gonna go at your leisure.
Yeah.
However, if I've already made it straight that we're non-exclusive, doesn't mean that I'm not gonna go over there. Now, if you feel a certain way about that, I mean, that's on you. But then if you're giving me this and I'm giving you my non-sexual attention, like something's gotta, oh shit, something's gotta, who is that?
Yende.
Hold up. So hey, so
He's eating a pickle in the mic.
See, someone is saying 10 dates is insane.
It is.
10
It's a
dates,
lot.
10 dates.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but 10 dates, like at that point, listen, I'll give you 3. I'll give you 3, and at that point, like that's me just saying being with you and not fucking with anybody else. But after 3 dates, we haven't done anything. I'm gonna start feeling like I'm strung along, especially if I've dealt with other personalities and other women who haven't done that, and we've either had sex right away and it's been, great relationship so far, versus, wait more than 3 days and we go from there. But 10 days, then I start to feel like I'm being strung along, and I'm like, okay, I don't really know what this woman feels like physically, right? I don't even know how she acts physically. Why am I wasting all this time? So I think if you're gonna go that route, I mean, real talk, it's probably not going to be the guy you're going to find attractive with long term, because those are guys who really, it's just like, okay, yes, I'll wait. I don't have anything else going on. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's almost like you're rationalizing your attraction at that point. Yeah.
Hey CJ, I got a response to that. I tell you.
Just like y'all know, top left, she had a question, had a hand up.
Hold on.
Yeah. No, I've seen it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sophia, let's do it.
I was just going to ask a question to the guys. Do you guys think sex is better in a relationship or casually?
In a relationship.
Better in a relationship.
Good sex is good sex. Doesn't matter if it's in a relationship or casually.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm asking.
I disagree.
That's fine. I'm just letting you know. Like in my experience, you could have really good sex, whether it was with somebody you were with for a long time, or if it's somebody you just met recently. If they know how to do things with their body, if they're confident in themselves, if they're feeling you, if you're feeling them, don't tell me that you don't have a good time.
Yeah, some people like the freedom. They prefer that freedom feel of the no not being stuck. I don't think that most people do. I think most people it's more comfortable in, but there's those rare few people, I'm sure, who it's like if they've been in enough weird relationships, it's something about being able to do it and not have to deal with anything attached to it. As far as guys, I mean, not girls. That's not about girls. I mean,
Jenna, I would say this, going to what she's saying. I would say in a relationship, because when you're in a relationship, she's more comfortable with you. She's more open with you.
I know, but Primal just pointed out a person who is not so what I'm saying is I'm just going along with the thing of just to say, if you just say all guys, you're just saying to her that guys prefer that. I just don't want to dismiss that there are guys who literally are very uncomfortable once you start say tell me this, you've seen this before, like a guy, he's like he has a bunch of girlfriends and stuff. He's seems like he's very, very good with the ladies, but then he ends up kind of hanging around this one a whole lot, and it's like, oh, I really like her, but then he finally it's like, okay, now I'm settled with this one, and she starts being clingy, and he literally wants to jump out of his skin. It's something about the feeling trapped all of a sudden. Like there are
Nope,
there are guys
that
who
means
feel like that.
relationship.
that means the man isn't ready for that. That means he's not. He's not. No, that's just real. That's just real. That means you're not ready for that, because if you get that girl, if anything, that's the kind of girl you want to wife up. If she's obsessed with you,
But
you
that's
want
a
to bring her
functional
with you.
thinking person.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Go
because
ahead, Josh.
that little logic that you're saying, what and attached to what Duke is saying, that's become sexual. It's become better because in my experience, I've been on both ends of the fit. Casual dating, casually having sex, in a relationship. But my woman, if she's with me and we have that relationship, she's more open. Like, hey, you want to try this with that guy? You want to try this with me? You want to do this? Do you want to watch TV? Because I mean, real talk, 9 to 10 times, let's say I get a girl tomorrow and it's just a booty call. Everything I'm thinking in my head, I cannot really have that real openness with that person in that night what I can have with my real relationship. You can explore with your relationship. You can't really explore with these one night stands, these casual dates. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but
You're not
guys
you're
also
not
have
exploring
issues
with the
with
casuals?
vulnerability though.
Yeah, you explore, but this one I'm saying. This what I'm saying.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying. You know, one night you could be like do some little wild freaky thing, but if you with your, like, for example, if we're talking about future longevity, your wife can do it all. Your exclusive girlfriend can do it all. That's just how I feel about it.
That's I respect that. I'm just,
it's more better for me in a relationship. Like I can still do the same with the one I stand, but to me it's just not the same. When you got it,
it's not. It's not.
Yeah, but you guys are two functional thinking guys. That's
right,
the thing.
right. But guys, the thing is, in the self-awareness part, you got to also know yourself. Because here's the thing: casual sex. Listen, it's nice and all, but you don't really explore to the extent unless it's like a repeated thing, and then at some point, the more repetitive, then someone's gonna catch feelings. That's just how it is. So unless you get to that point where someone's catching feelings, and then y'all decide how to talk through that, then that's fine, and then you guys can explore further because now that comfortability is developed. But for a girl to really loosen up, man, they got to be comfortable with you, and it's better in a relationship when they feel like there's some certain level of security there. And then as long as they feel like that you're open enough, you're not going to be one of these dudes that are like you like to be treated like this and bad. Like I didn't know that based off of your personnel. You know, as long as you're not one of these judgmental type of dudes, yeah, it's like, all right, baby, what you want to try? You want to try this? Let's do this. And also, one thing I don't understand is like even during sexual intercourse, I want to get your thoughts on you ladies too. I've been noticing that guys don't really communicate to you guys on what it is that they want. Have you guys had that experience?
We don't.
Say it again. Okay. Sorry.
What, like during intercourse, when you guys are having sex, right? Do guys that you're having sex with, they communicate with you what they like? Go ahead.
This took a left turn.
I'm sorry.
You random as hell, brother. Like you were like shiny object. Duke heard sex and he just ran off.
I just wanted to know, like, what is it? Like, do guys communicate well? Like, do guys communicate well in sex? All right. So before I want Natasha to go, I know I'm a freak. I ain't gonna like that nigga. Dave, bro. I already know how I get down. All right. So
super freak.
But Jeff Hill, shout out to you, Jeff Hill. Been missing the lives for the last few weeks. Got on the show, love. I appreciate it, man. Hey, listen, we're trying different time zones out, so please, if you guys like this time zone better, we'll start doing a little bit more lives this time. But go ahead, Natasha. Do guys communicate effectively with you during sex?
Yes, and sometimes I think a little too much, but yeah, I think generally they tend to say what they want, and when they want it, how they want it. I think one thing that I do like is when my partner asks me what I want as well, because a lot of the time I think they kind of assume they know what I want, and it's like, please stop.
Stop that right now.
Yeah.
I was going to say something a little bit opposite. I'm normally the one that tells them what to do.
Oh, you're a little bit more the masculine dominant.
I wouldn't say that, but yeah, I mean, I know what I like. If that, in that sense.
Yeah, I was going to say, in my experience, men usually say what they want. And then some women are shy to say what they want, or men need a lot of guidance about what a woman wants. That's my experience. Yeah.
Wrong guys. You're dealing with the wrong guys.
Wouldn't you say, though, just if you didn't have to actually tell him what you wanted, but he could just sense what you wanted from the way that you moved and the way that you reacted, wouldn't that be even better than you actually having to say the words?
It would be better, but not everyone is
And where do you think men? I'm making a point. I'm making a point.
Okay.
Where do you think that men learn how to do this?
Experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can tell you that. That's going to be a weird thing. Like this, it's way harder.
Primal. High five.
It's way harder for a guy to be like the longer a guy goes without, kind of getting out there and getting his feet wet with that stuff. It could be almost traumatizing once they get to a certain age, because like with women, you could just wait until you're married and it go how it go. He teach you what he teach you. But yeah, but no, it's not that it's better. It's the thing is that there isn't anything to learn to do. But with a guy, if a guy doesn't, if he come in there, he show up, it's like, oh yeah, the love is great. We're so in love and we're so clean, but we don't know what the fuck to do now. and it's going to take.
It is the blind lead the blind, and they're going to have a great time, right? God bless them. I hope it works. I hope somebody's not disappointed, because imagine waiting 20 years to get married, and then your wedding night is a massive disappointment.
Bam! It's going to be one and done. Bam!
You just didn't like him.
You're like, shit. Yeah, so it actually is important that a guy, that's where his confidence comes from, and he can go out and hunt. It's a form of hunting. They can go out and hunt and get done what he set out to get done. It's a different, as far as women, it's just different. It is different. It's one of those things.
I don't think guys learn from being told, though. I don't think there's nobody like.
I didn't say that they did.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. I think most guys, it's not like they ask their uncle or their dad. Don't get me wrong. There are some things older men gonna put on you. There was things that older men told me, and I had to go try it. My point is, they can like mention it to you, but they can't teach you. You got to go learn with a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was raised on that side most of women, so that's pretty much where my experience came from, just listening to women talk. And I had a lot of loudmouth, gossipy, talking women around me.
Did they complain about bad experiences, or like how did you learn?
I never heard about the bad experience. I heard about the code, like how they say, what they say. When they look.
I was about to say, damn, bro.
No. They never got that.
Know that your parents put you through your mama and your sister.
Yeah, they're my aunts. They ain't gonna play me out like that. They'll give me just enough, and then after that, you figure it out on your own. And it's the guys talking what they see on TV and all that stuff. But I have a question for the women though. Are there, and it's probably the same old question, but are there aggressive women out there that will approach men?
Oh God, yes.
Are you one of them?
Yeah.
They're online dating. I thought the guys all about that.
Yeah, but they're probably unattractive though.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Every woman that's ever shot her shot.
No. I disagree with that.
They're trolls.
I disagree with that. I've had baddies. I've had the baddies approach, man. I've had it. I've had that happen.
You lucky.
I've had that happen.
But that's the minority, and you know that's true.
Yeah, exactly. It's the minority though.
Right. I get that.
The hot ones are the minority.
Because most beautiful women are so busy getting approached that they don't approach. Yeah.
We have to sift through all our messages. We don't even get to go and do the searches.
Hold on. So that's your definition.
No. That's the average woman. The average woman needs an assistant to look through her messages.
No, we're good. I'm talking about J9. So you're saying no, because she's saying you have to be online to be aggressive. So that's the
No, I didn't say you have to be. No, I didn't say you have to be. I just said he said. Do you think that there are women out there who are aggressive and will approach men? And I said, yeah, they're online, because I ask dudes this all the time. It's like one of my interview questions. I was like, what are your experiences like on online dating? And the thing is, I always be curious, because I know what it looks like to as a girl. But I wonder what it looks like to guys. So we're like, surely you're getting some approaches. It's not that you're getting none, right? Because they act like they're getting none. And sure enough, they all tell me the same thing. They get plenty. No, they get plenty, but they be They be stuff they don't like. Oh God,
I don't think guys like it. I don't think guys like it being approached. What
No,
do you
they
guys
would.
think?
No, if I
Wow.
approached a guy,
If she was hot enough, the guys certainly
No,
don't mind. Believe
they
me.
do
But
not
the,
mind. They
but the
love
hot
it.
ones,
That's
if they're
rare.
hot, yeah, bring it on. But
Yeah.
If they think you're hot, they love it. If you-
Hold on. One at a time.
They
One at a
don't.
time. One at a time. One at a time.
But J9,
let-
I would say this though, and I'll be done with it. I'll say this. So since you're saying you're doing little questions stuff like that, now ask those same guys or more to say, hey, not online. Have women approach you and take it from there.
Oh, like what the women say?
Approaching you personally.
Oh, in person?
The
Like
same,
what,
the same questions, but not online, but in person to see what they say.
to see if to ask guys what girls are saying to them in person.
Yeah, just approaching them. Are
Well,
they
the
being
thing is, most of the time that doesn't happen. That's why, because the type of women who approach you online, they're most of the ones that are probably not going to get responded to. Those particular women are having issues with getting any attention in person, and so that's why they're on there. So they're probably not approaching people in real life like they are online. That's why they go there. No, we're talking about a specific type of woman, because this is a person with. It's not just about what she looks like. I know plenty of women who, like, if you just saw the picture, you might be like, "Oh God!" But when you see her in person, she popping. Because her person likes everything about her, she fired. Like, no, I mean it happens. There are dudes like that too. Like Poppy. No, like Poppy.
Hey, Poppy, man. Hey, J9 shooting shots over here.
Women will low-key approach women. Here, hold on. Wait a second. Women will low-key approach men in public places, but here's how they do it. If you're at the gym, they'll come talk to you and just say, "Hey, can you spot me?" or "Can you show me how to do something?" That's their way of shooting their shot at you in public. They're not going to come out and just be like, they're not going to come out and just be like, "Hey, you look good. Let's go out." They're going to put themselves in your sphere, and it's up to the man to go and ask them out. That's what they do. That's how women shoot their shot in public. They give you the opportunity. Exactly.
Sophia, what were you going to
say?
say?
That's never going to change. That's never going to change for a lot of you guys out there. Go ahead, Sophia.
I was just going to say, women shooting their shot is essentially them just looking you in the eye, and that's it.
Exactly.
No,
literally.
We're basically saying, because we're basically saying, "Come on, ask me out. Come on."
But that's a problem, though, and it's important that we're having these conversations because a lot of guys who aren't problem. It's a problem because there are guys who can't tell, okay, if a woman's just looking at me, that's it's time for me to approach her. But they don't exactly, but they're not, they don't get these kind of clues, right? Women aren't necessarily going to tell you this shit, right? Because they want you to figure it out. But this thing, and guys, most guys out there, they don't know. So girls staring at them with them eyes like, all right, come at me. Guys are gonna stare at back like what? Like what you want, right? You know, so that's basically
it's a specific
no. Hang on. But like I've seen guys even at the gym, they get approached, right? And like it's like the girl will come up, talk to him and whatnot, and the guy just has conversation with him, and then just walk off.
Like, all right, on to the next set. Bro, I gotta hit this bench.
What the fuck, bro?
I'll see you later.
You be like, bro, like she was totally into you. Like what? Like, what do you mean? How do you mean? I'm like, what girl comes up to you and randomly asks you about a workout that she was already doing like 5 seconds ago before she came to you, bro? Like,
if a woman comes and talks to you in public in any manner, unless it's like business related, they're probably interested in you. They're setting themselves in your place to take your shot.
There you go.
Guys
are dumb. Guys are stupid. You need to get on the program. Talk to some OGs and learn.
I was stupid. I was dumb in my earlier years. I was dumb. I was stupid. I worked with one. She was doing everything that y'all guys were saying, and then guess what? Invited me to a whole party the whole company was going to go to. I said, no, I'm not going to go. I'm going to go home. My boys he was asking about me the whole time through the party. I get back to work. They just tell me everything. It's like, oh, you know you lost your shot, right? I was like, really? I just thought we was friends. I thought she was cool. So again, everybody don't know.
People they don't. Like, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but most of the time, girls are so weird and complicated. We like the chase.
Easy,
we actually like the chase. We enjoy the chases just like dudes do. I don't know if guys know that.
The problem is J9. The problem is J9. That's coming down.
When you want it, you like a chase.
J9. Hold up. Go ahead, Primal.
So when a man comes up and approaches you in a public place,
Mm-hmm.
and you have no relationship to him, no business or anything, is it your assumption that he's gonna like hit on you or ask you out in some way?
It depends on where I'm at, like, and
But
how he
generally
walks up to
speaking,
me.
yeah, if a guy just walks up to you at the mall and he's just like, "Hey, how are you?" Are you assuming that he's either trying to sell you something
No,
or hit on
yeah, sell me something is what I think in the mall. Yeah.
you? So guys need to assume
No,
the
I didn't
same
know in the
thing.
mall.
Yeah.
I do in the mall. No, because
Women get it. Women just
Hold
get
on,
it. When
Jenna,
a guy
let him
comes up
finish.
to talk to you, you pretty much know that guy's interested in you.
Well,
right?
depends on. That's why I said it depends on where I'm at. If I'm at like a restaurant and a guy walks up to me, he doesn't work there. Yes, I'm assuming that because
Exactly.
there's drinks
So
there.
with-
But in the mall, I walk around with it's the. I don't think this question would qualify. This would probably be a better question for the ladies because I walk around a specific way
That's
so that
fine.
people won't
That's fine.
approach me.
Most
I walk
women-
around looking down with my
Most-
headphones
yeah.
because I don't like to be. I don't like
Most
to be
women that are
approached.
looking to be approached, if a man approaches them,
Yeah,
they
he does.
know that the guy's already interested. You assume that he's interested just because he's coming up and talking to you, and he has no real reason to be.
I think
Yes,
it's
so
weird when girls do
basically,
that.
so generally, if a guy who you don't know is coming over to talk to you, yes, you're assuming he's probably interested, and you're like, okay, how's this gonna go? Let's see what he says. Is he gonna mess it up? That's pretty much how it goes from that point,
Oh
for me
wow,
anyway.
jeez. And that's why guys are so pissed right now.
I mean, I don't mean it that way. Like, I don't mean it
because most guys are going to talk themselves right out of getting
Exactly.
a phone number
That's
or
what I mean.
getting
Yeah.
a date, or most guys talk
That's why you don't
themselves
say
right out
too
of
much.
it.
That's why you stay quiet. Don't say too much. And
know,
let it
but
play it out.
That's
Let
what I
your
mean. Like,
swag
I'll see it.
talk
I'll
for
see
you.
it, guy.
That's what dating. That's what dating is all about, bro. Dating is 80% of women talking and you throwing your little 20%.
Vega, what kind of men you dealing with? Vega, time out. I gotta address this real quick.
Then he creepy stalker energy
Yeah,
right there.
hey, that's a man you need to. Hey, that's a man you need to call the police on.
No, I would walk up to him.
Don't even talk to him.
I would walk up to him and ask him a random question like, "Do you have the time?" And because people get uncomfortable.
Yes,
get
the time. What if he says yes? You just got to get in my
I'll be
van.
like, "What time?"
I left my watch in the van. You got to come help me tell the time.
You guys have heard me. You guys have heard me talk, right? I'm not a shrieking violent. I'm not a shrieking violent. Okay, trust me. He's gonna want to run away because he's gonna be screaming. Oh, okay, baby. All right, Poppy.
Poppy, I'm telling you, bro. Hey,
you better invite us to the wedding. That's all I'm saying.
No, Poppy is like my baby. He's like my child. Primal is what I got my eye on.
You don't want to die in her life.
Hey, Poppy, you know what? You want to know why she said that? She you know why she said that? Because she wants you to call her mommy.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hey, she don't want to dark skin nigga in her life. I'm too raw.
Come on, Poppy. Hey,
You heard me,
hey, listen. Hey, this has been fantastic, bro. I appreciate this. We're gonna start closing this out.
That 10 minutes was 45 already.
I'm telling you, in Duke and Dawn time, that's like different. That's like different.
That's like 6
conversation
hours.
is
10 minutes,
crazy.
like 4 hours.
I'm telling you, man. Hey, before we hold on real quick, before we get into the because we got the physical studios and stuff built, so we gotta coordinate that too. We can't be going like 3 hours and shit. Hey, y'all should see it, man. It's beautiful. We'll put in the story or something like that when it gets close. Hey, we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes, man. Like I'm letting y'all know, like the super chats, all that stuff, man. I want y'all to let y'all know we're putting it in to like bolster the show and make sure that we putting out dope content for you guys. So we're putting a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and when you guys see the kind of stuff we got going on, man, it's wild. You guys, we're coming on with a whole new fire, man. So just keep that in mind. But go ahead, CJJ, and then we're gonna go around to everybody, let them know what the thoughts is on the show. Natasha, I want to start with you since you're a new face to the show. I appreciate you coming on and what you thought and everything on it. Was it? But CJ, what's your rebuttal?
Yeah, I was gonna say when I said see how he messes it up. That's exactly what I meant. I just meant, is he gonna shoot his shot? Because guys, just shoot your shot. If you say hi to a woman you're interested and she said hi back and she's not a bitch, because there are some bitchy women that I think you should just walk away from, then just take your chance because we're waiting, right?
It's
Women
the
are
fear.
waiting.
It's the fear of failure, or even the
Yeah.
fear of failure and the fear of success, CJ.
And you
Because
all
a lot of
depend the
times,
setting too, though.
guys. Well, true. And the thing is, when women don't understand, is like guys when they go in, it is all that pressure to basically
It
come in
is.
and say something, right? On top of that, we got to say the right thing, not coming out in here asking, "Hey, what's up? How's the weather? What's your bra size?" Right? We don't. We got to know what the right thing to say. So there's all that. And on top of that, let's just say we're successful, and the woman is not receptive to the game we're putting onto her, right? Now what? How do we go to the close? How do we do all that stuff? So some guys haven't even gotten past the approach point to the point where they're even having a conversation. And even out of that, some guys haven't even got to the point even having that conversation to close the deal, right? So that's the thing. A lot of guys, they're in different statuses of different places that they don't really understand that. So yeah, it's simple, like to you approach, like, yeah, we're waiting for you guys, but then he might say something that just turns you off. And all of a sudden, you're like, all right, dude, just get out of my fucking face. Like, just hurry up and get the fuck out of my face, right? And that's it. Some guys, I've even heard some girls, man, they would tell me they once rejected the dude just because of how his toenails look. Like, it's crazy.
Oh.
Like, he
That's
approached
a
her.
little
Can you
weird.
believe this creepy dude approached me and like he was trying to holler at me and all this. I'm like, what made him creepy? He had these sandals on, no socks, and his toenail. He had his pinky nail it was black. I couldn't do it. Because I didn't want that scratching me if we fuck. Like, what if we haven't? I'm sitting there like, girl, what?
And my ex-husband used to cut my ankles up.
Oh God.
I said, time out. It don't matter his character. It don't matter his integrity, nothing. Because his toenails look black, you ain't fuck with him. Yep. All right, shit.
Just
hey,
wear
good luck
some
to you.
That was
shoes,
just
damn
her
it.
excuse, man. That was just her excuse.
Hey,
This wasn't killing him.
Yeah, that was an excuse. She didn't like him. She just needed an excuse she could say out loud.
It's
Yeah,
like,
'cause she blamed it on
open
the
toes.
It was
Open
the
toe
toes.
shoes. No, we're not doing that. But let's start. Was that it for your point, CJ?
Yeah, that's all. Yep.
All right, go ahead, Natasha. I know it's your first time on the show, but what did you think so far? Like, what are your thoughts on the conversations and all that? Because we kind of got loose a little bit. But go ahead.
Well, firstly, thank you so much for inviting me along, and thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the different opinions. A lot to take in at it's almost like 2:45 in the morning here.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been really insightful. It's been really great to hear all the different voices and opinions, and I just think it's great that we're having these conversations. As you all know, I'm very big on conversations.
No, that's facts. That's facts, man. And the reason why it's really important that we do this, and like our platform, which is weird for being a men's life improvement type of platform, we have one of the largest amount of women following in this and women support. I mean, just even yesterday's show, a lot of you guys basically carried the show, right? So it's one of those things where like I believe that for society to change the way we think about relationships or dating, a lot more women need to step up and have conversations about this. To not just to men, but to other women as well. I think that's going to be very important. And it'd be important too if like women would start channels or do different things that, maybe can talk about the things that are alongside with them, but also preaches the counter message to the culture that we have right now. Because right now, the big culture is toxic. We can all agree on that, but we need a counterculture to set things straight. And this is how things have always been throughout time, right? You have the mainstream culture, a counterculture that becomes the mainstream, and then there has to be a new wave coming in and stop whatever this mainstream is and bring something else to it. And I think we just have to have a conversation and prove to not only the world that listen, men and women can be on the same platform. We can have disagreements, yes, but this conversation needs to be had without people either getting stuck to their feelings or pushing each other out and things like that. And this is a proof of concept that it works, right? Because that we've had this continuously, and there are great conversations and great solutions, and people walk away with things that they would have otherwise never thought about. But I appreciate that, Natasha. Thank you. Do you have anything that you're going for you, like in social media, YouTube, podcast, anything you have going on that you want the guys to check out? I'm gonna tell you right now. You tell them to check it out, they'll check it out.
I'm not really big on social media, but I do have an Instagram. So if anyone wants to have a chat or conversation on Instagram, more than happy to. I don't know if I can type in the chat.
Either are you on a YouTube chat too as well? If you're on a YouTube chat, you can put it in a YouTube chat and I can put it on the screen. If not, put it on the private chat I can copy it and paste it on the main chat. That way I can post it on there. So I don't. Yeah, just drop your links in there too in the private chat, guys.
All right, done.
Perfect. All right. So yeah, guys, show support, get follower, man. She's doing some cool things behind the scenes.
Oh,
in terms
I'm
of her
so
work.
sorry to interrupt. I
Go
just
ahead.
had a spark of inspiration.
There you go.
I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to ask everyone to be a bit of a guinea pig for me.
Okay.
I'm currently planning Black History Month US.
Okay.
And obviously I live in the UK and I don't really understand everything going on. And I would really, really love some ideas on stuff that we can do to be inclusive, on stuff that we can do to be impactful. So if anyone has any speakers in mind or anything that we could do that's interactive, please send it along because I'm struggling.
There you go.
Thank
Sure.
you.
And you
No
said it's
worries.
for Black History Month?
Yeah, so we've just had the UK Black History Month, but we have a US Black History Month in February, as you all know. So yeah, as my job role is to plan that, but it's very difficult to plan that when you're in the UK and you don't really understand everything going on. So yeah, any insights would be so helpful.
If Blacklight's in the building, man, Blacklight would know a little bit more too about that. But yeah, guys, even the guys in the chat too. If you guys know any other person that can provide resources to help her out for putting together a Black History Month, definitely hit her out on Instagram. Hopefully, you guys can see the chat below. Not even the chat below, but the screen. Her Instagram's right there. So go ahead and follow her, send her a message, hook her up with someone that can help her out. But yeah, appreciate it, man. Real talk. Thank you. All right. The Sophia, what's good, girl? Damn, it's been so long since you've been on the show, too. Damn.
I didn't know who she was. She lit a cigarette.
Say what?
You did say what?
I said she got a new hairdo. I didn't know who she was, so she lit the cigarette.
No. See, I'm not gonna lie.
She got the long hair.
My hair needs a wash, and it takes a while. I didn't have time. I just tied it up. I'm
just wrapping
yeah.
the bun.
Sophia, which part of London are you from? Are you even from London?
I am. I grew up in London. I don't live in London anymore. I live in Norfolk, but I grew up in Tottenham.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm South.
Whereabouts are you from? Yeah.
Red Hill?
See, my boyfriend's from South, so he's from like
Don't say Croydon.
No, Streatham.
Hey, how big is the Nigerian community in the UK? I got a family over there, but I've
big.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I got a lot of family up there, but like, it was here. So when we were on our way to the U.S., we had two options: either Wisconsin or somewhere in the UK where my auntie lives. And my sister, my mom's sister, was here, so she chose here because it was more blood relatives. So we end up in Wisconsin, but I could have easily been where y'all was at. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's it like? What's a Nigerian show out over there?
It's quite funny because my stepdad was Nigerian, and I grew up going to a Nigerian church. So it was
they got a
I
church?
was surrounded.
Word! Oh shit! Yo! Hey, what are we doing? Are you kidding me? We ain't got shit over here, bro. What you talking about? Yeah, I'm about to. Hey, look, I'm inspired right now because that's gonna make me. I'm gonna start some shit. You think I'm gonna start some shit? Wait, we don't have a church. We building that right now because we got a decent sized community. I'm in Wisconsin, in Madison, and we have a decent sized community, but it's not like to the point we got churches and shit. Like that's damn. Because I want something where we can start pouring into like not only our community but like the other African American communities as a whole, like just bleed through. I feel passionate about that to like include the whole situation. And shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson, because he talks about the Pan-Africanism and things like that. I really think African Americans and not only just African Americans here, but what do you call it? African UKians, or how do you say that? The black folks in the UK, right? I don't know what it's called. The black folks in the UK, the Nigerians in there. Let's start like talking to each other and connecting. Because I remember growing up, man, like coming from Nigeria and dealing with the black folks here, I was not accepted the way I should have been accepted, right? So it was like, oh, you're African, you're less than. Move on. I'm like, what? What the fuck is that? You're black too. I don't get it. African booty scratcher, all that
That's what they're calling
nonsense. So it's a little different here in Wisconsin. So, but
I
it's
think
interesting. Y'all got a church. That's wild.
yeah. I was gonna say I think Nigerian culture is part of UK culture now, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
it's that big.
A little
Huge
bit,
So
part.
yeah. London
Well, I mean,
especially.
like the history though. Originally, you guys, I mean, colonization wise, I mean, your influence is heavily present in Nigeria, heavily
Yeah.
present.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's not going in. Even the words that we used. I remember I used to get fried because I would spell color with a U, and they did tell us that it was wrong. And I'm like, what? This is how I've been always spelling color my entire life. And they're like, oh, you
I
got it
love
wrong.
it.
What the
I
fuck?
love it.
So I had to adapt. So that was the one thing. So it's the influence is there. My bad. I heard the church and I went crazy. But go ahead, Sophia. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, you know, I went to a church, a Nigerian church. I grew up with around the aunties and uncles, and they were all my aunties and all my uncles. You know what I'm saying? You know, you had to be respectful, a little bit like Natasha, where there were certain rules you had to follow and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it introduced me to culture. You know, a different culture to what I grew up with as a kid, as a child. I experienced this sort of going into my teenage years, so it was like it was really good for me. I enjoyed it, and honestly, so much less boring than normal church. Like the Church of England churches, where you go, oh man, and all that, and it's just like I can't be dealing with that now. Just like, you know, get up, jump around, dance,
Yeah.
clap your hands, you know.
but
all
did
that.
it go on for 10 hours though?
That's my coach.
It honestly like 4 hours, but then there's food afterwards. So I was
That's
getting
right.
there.
Dog show.
Yeah,
Some jollof
yeah.
rice,
Hey,
some
look,
chicken.
yeah. See, now we talking. See, look at that. Look, now we talking. We talk about jollof rice, some chicken. Hey, put some
Yeah.
fried rice in there.
Yeah.
Hey, bring the goat meat too. All right, make sure they got goat meat in there because
Yeah.
you best.
Rice and
You
beans.
gonna throw
Need some
down,
rice
baby.
and
You already know.
You know.
No, but they churches be going for crazy long. I don't know. We
Honestly.
really love Jesus over here.
We got church time and we got Duke and Dog time. They're the
Right.
main thing, yeah.
Right. Hey, but what do you think of the show, Sophia? What are your thoughts? The conversation and how things went.
So I think it was really insightful. I think there's a lot of things to take away from it. I think that there's this kind of hookup culture impacting everyone now, and impacting the dating scene. It's impacting how men and women are seeing each other. Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe we need to go back to a bit more old school, but yeah, I think it's something that I like the fact that we're having discussions about it, because not many men are doing that. Not many men are actually talking and trying to figure out a solution. So yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. Anytime, girl. Just let us know. Angelus.
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome, Natasha. And welcome again, Miss Sophia. No, man, like always, bro. The show's good. Love everybody. Love the vibe. All the good stuff. Only takeaway, like always, we need to have these conversations. You know, I know, Primal's throwing like a little jokey jab, but that's how family do. But if it's just the little things or the small things, if we don't know, you have to ask. And if it get brought up even in the chat or here, just bring it up. Because again, if a dumb question has been asked, might be a lesson learned for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
absolutely.
And I'm gonna leave y'all back to that. And y'all have a good night.
I appreciate it, Angelus. I appreciate it. Yeah, y'all don't understand, like the DMs we get to as well, and the comments we see, like about the conversations that we're having. It's not even about the people even on here talking. The ladies, you guys are impacting a lot more people than you realize, right? Even women who are talking about, like, wow, like this is crazy. I never really understood that. And just by seeing other women talk about this and being open about it, it's like it's crazy, because then it's making more women come out and like say, hey, listen, this is great. Like I can believe that people are actually having these conversations. And I think that's what we need. We just need the acceptance, and women need the acceptance from other women to say, okay, can we have this conversation without me just getting like, shitted on because y'all think I'm this and whatnot. All right, let's just have the conversation outside the girl code. All right, and really open things up to see where the problems are really at. But yeah, we're changing people's lives and minds out here, man, which is crazy, because we're just talking, we're just having the discussions, but discussions are powerful, right? J Naive, what's good, girl? What's good?
Hey, you know what I've been dying to say, Natasha? Don't Natasha up there in that corner look like she looks like a avatar? There's like a couple of times where I was looking up there and it was like, oh, it's just one of those little mobile little avatars that move, and I'm like, oh no, wait, that's her. That looks so weird.
Hey, Natasha, I want to ask: are those box braids you got on?
Of course they are.
I'm feeling them, dude. I'm looking at them like, damn, bro. I'm
They're
feeling them
fresh,
box
so I
braids.
still can't quite move my head. I kind of have to I can't.
No.
Yeah.
I like the stuff the little jewelry you got in on there.
Thank you.
I like that. CJOJ. Oh, I'm sorry, J Naive. Were you good? I'm sorry, I didn't get to
I did actually have a thing I wanted to speak about. To CJOJ, she had said something about the waiting the 10 days thing, or 10
dates,
what was it?
yeah.
What 10 dates? The 10 dates. You know, the waiting thing is actually, it's it's a personal decision for you.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is to know that if you choose that, you're only choosing that for yourself, not necessarily the person that you're, with, because they have their own little routine and they've been moving about their life at this other kind of pace thing, and you just meeting this person and now them having to do this shift. So when you do that, you should, it's just a suggestion, do that if if that's something that you really want to do, but do it with the knowing that it is highly likely that just because he's not going to be doing that with you, because that's your boundary, doesn't mean that he won't be doing that in that time. And there's certain things that go along in that time. Like there's this weird thing that happens when a man is dealing with a woman that he really likes. It's a radar that goes up with all the women around him. It's like this invisible thing, and they can feel that he's being pulled away. And so women are going to literally come out of the fucking woodwork and start seeing him in a completely different way. He's going to end up, it kind of almost will put him in a position where it would fuck it up for both of you. So I don't think it's something that you should choose willy-nilly like that. Is you should judge it by the person. Like if the guy seems so flimsy, then yes, wait, because that way he'll go ahead and weed himself out in that time. But if that's not the purpose, is to see if he would weed himself out. If it's really because you just want to solidify it, it's not going to do that. If anything, it's just going to give a whole lot of spaces in between for other things to kind of get in there and ruin the shot that you probably had.
Yeah, we got to root for our boy. We got to root for our boy Kamaru, man. He's got to get his stuff going. But no, I agree with that. Yeah, you definitely. You get away with that with guys who don't have as many options, right? Some guys would like, listen, 10 days, that ain't nothing.
No, even them.
It's been a year. No, it's been a year since I got the box. I'll wait 10 days. Don't worry.
I know, but the radar, that radar goes up on those dudes, man. Like the women around them can smell it on them.
But that's the dudes that are already dealing with these chicks. I'm talking about the dudes that, let's say, you don't even know, or they're fronting, waiting 10 days, they'll wait. But that's true though. You made a good point. Like you don't want to wait too long because especially if he's really invested into you, it's you're gonna just fuck it up. That's what it is. You'll fuck it up. I say the right time. The 3-date rule, it works. It's perfect. Yeah. Right there. We're even trying to complicate anything. I don't know why it needs to be overcomplicated. 3 dates are enough time. All right. If the guy can get it before, great. But don't think that she's don't look at her a different way if she gives it to you before the box, before the 3 days or after the 3 days, because then that's dumb. All right. You can have great relationships. Exactly. You could have perfectly great relationships with women if they fuck you on the first night. I mean, it's not. Don't. We got to get out of this judgmental mentality. And another thing I want to get through the heads of a lot of dudes out there. All right, her body count doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter, dude. All right. The fact that she's dealing with you, you just go ahead and run with that. That's why y'all men. Y'all setting yourself up for this shit, and that's a problem because ego-wise, let's face it, we got egos here. We can't handle that shit. So the body count doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, bro. Like just it doesn't. All right. When you hear this in the manosphere space, we hear this in the red pill space. Oh, she fucked more than 100 dudes. Maybe I don't know. But like, listen, it's like,
Duke's 101st. Duke's 101st.
I'm not saying the vast majority of women are running out here with 100 bodies. All right. I said it's a very small percentage, but realistically, it doesn't fucking matter, man. Let's just literally deal in the moment. If you're worried about other dudes that she's been with, I mean, you're not worried about what the energy you need to be putting in a situation at this point in time. And that's honestly just, that's bitch energy. So just don't worry about it. But anyways, Primal, no, I'm sorry, CJ. And then Primal. Did the order get switched on us? Of course, we
Yes,
just got.
we
Somebody
lost.
hopped off and it
We
keeps
lost Pappy.
rotating.
We,
Oh
we
shit,
lost.
Poppy's
Oh,
been.
there's
Oh,
There he is.
there he is. I didn't even.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
No, as always, I loved the conversation today. It's always interesting to get Ayende's insights as well. No, I
If
loved it.
anybody else is able to talk, that is.
Yeah, he ran off when I got in here. I was like, oh, it's how convenient.
Um,
No, how
I'm,
convenient.
I'm sad that we lost Layla,
I
because
wanted to hear from her.
yeah, I would have loved to chat more with her. But no, great meeting Natasha and Sophia. I've watched you on here before. Great conversations. This is what I like. I like us talking to each other, talking about relationships, talking about difficulties, talking about what works, what doesn't work, and our different experiences. So thanks for having me on. That's it.
Of course, anytime, CJLJ. Pape. Oh, Promo.
Go
And
ahead, it's
Pape.
fine. Poppy, go ahead, Poppy.
Oh, all right, go ahead, Poppy.
Yeah, I think we gotta you gotta. I mean, this is your show, so I think you gotta do a part 2, because I would really like you to react from that video. That lady is very, very smart, and I
So
want
hard, yep.
a lot
Sure.
of women to listen to her, because she is speaking gospel, bro. And do you check the video that I sent you from her?
I gotta open that up, but
It
yeah,
was from her, a
check.
couple of her videos.
Okay.
She know what she be talking about, yo.
Oh, MTR video. Yeah, I saw that one.
It was
Yep,
her.
Yep.
It was her video.
Yep.
Yo, and she be trying to bring men and women together, especially black women and black men, which is that community is really, really we're hurting out here. You feel me?
I'm working on getting her on.
Hmm?
I'm working on getting her on. Getting her on the panel. That'd be dope.
Even better.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
And I would have loved for the Muslim lady to stay, because everything that what you were saying was it was valid. You see, like she got married, and usually Muslim women, there is no way around it. They submit to their man, they listen to their man, they know they are the head of the household, and no talking back and forward. She told you that herself, so obviously that way it worked. You see what I'm saying?
But she surprised me when she said that she told him, like, they had a conversation about it. So that was really interesting. She told him that about her concerns about that. So, but yeah. So sorry, Pappy. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, you should listen to her a whole lot more, CJOJ. Probably can give you a pointer or two.
Excuse you?
Give you a pointer or two. We all learn from each other.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
And I think her way is the right way to go. You feel me? And like I was talking about earlier about feminism and all that stuff. Feminism got a few good things, but overall, it's a disaster. Thanks to feminism, most guys is winning out here, because technically feminism actually favor the men out here that is running the streets. It's easy to get a broad out here. It's not that hard. So y'all making it easy for the men, actually. For the men that know what to do with the women.
For the top 20%, yeah, they're killing it. They're killing it.
Yeah.
I don't got no problem getting a girl. No problem at all. And I don't even do online dating. So what you say, girl?
I said, I know you don't. I know you.
I'm a virgin. I lie. I'm a virgin.
Me too.
Poppy makes it wait 10 dates. Poppy makes it wait 10 dates.
But yeah, we gotta continue doing this, and we, like I said, Duke, I believe you probably gonna have to redo this one, because that video is very, very, very important. Her message.
No, there's gonna be a part 2 to this. We're gonna do another stream with this. It'll probably be Monday's stream, realistically. As you guys notice, we're doing these streams more and more often, right? So we're gonna do Monday stream too as well. That'll probably be at a different time. Our Friday night show is still gonna stay the same, but we're gonna do a part 2 to this. And then what I was thinking too, because I want to dive into the topic of sex. Like I want to talk about sex. I want to.
We know you do.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about listen. That's what I'm saying. We have a panel of girls, have the foods. We're gonna talk about it. Listen. I don't know anywhere else where this sex conversation is happening right now. Where it's happening in a way that we can like straightforward just have this conversation. Listen,
I agree.
I think we should do it, right?
I'm gonna get.
I say if we're gonna settle down.
Here. There's a bit. You better drink.
We're gonna
You
have
gotta
this
go
conversation.
days, bro.
We're gonna
You
have
What
disqualified.
was that? She said,
I feel for you, babe.
CJ said 10 days. Listen. We'll
Come on,
talk
man.
about sex.
10 minutes.
I want that conversation to happen because that's one of the things when I look out into the space, right? A lot of people either are not having this conversation, right? Either it's one-sided where let's face it, we're hearing it from a female perspective majority of the time, and we're not really hearing, okay, let's hear a balanced perspective. So I want to jump into that conversation. So yeah, well, I'm thinking about adding that to that as a kind of like a second piece to part 2. But yeah, you're right. We definitely gotta have a follow.
Oh, hey, you know what you should do? Do a survey, like set up some questions to do. Like the surveys are anonymous in here, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
You've been found out. You've been found out.
The polls. We could do polls. Yeah.
The polls. Yeah, those are like come up with some questions. Because I have a question that I would like to know how normal something is. Like whenever people start saying most people are this, most people are that.
Show me your rash. I don't want you telling me about your rash. All right.
No, it's not me. It's a guy thing. No, because look, guys are like.
You don't have any
certain
times
things,
I got that question. Can I show you my
people
rash?
say, is this normal? No, but
no, it's not.
Like it's but it's like it's certain things that guys, who's out there right now, people are talking about certain things that guys are into, but they're ashamed to say because, of course, of the stigma. I'd like to know, like, from the guys, like how common is it for them to like certain things, like just in all honesty. So if it's a poll and it's like anonymous, they should be honest, right? They'll probably be honest about it.
Yeah, more people will be honest. Yeah.
Like,
we can start doing that. We can start setting up polls.
Yeah, like how
do you mean
into
like
that stuff?
Do you mean like weird fetishes?
Honestly, it just are we still alive?
Yeah.
No,
we're very much still alive.
Yes.
Okay, like like with guys enjoying, exit.
Here we go. Here we go.
I
know where this is going.
Hey, you gotta be straightforward. Say it.
I know where she's going.
Just go there. Just go there. Yeah.
Men enjoying butt play.
Oh,
I knew that was coming.
That's it. Hey, listen. I've been curious about that too. I've heard about that, and I'm like, that's curious to me. What the fuck? Like, why would somebody want something up their butt? So I want to know that too.
Well, no, not even if it's not something up. I don't necessarily not no.
Let's take a poll. Let's take a poll on that one.
Dude, it's not really more so. If it's not up it, just playing around it.
Real men don't like that.
I think it's called. It's called
this is the wheels are coming off.
Just thinking about that. I'm just like, oh god.
Don't like that shit, bro. Period.
See, I know
that's an exit play.
But Charlemagne the God said that he likes it, so plenty of guys do.
That's why. Hey, you know what?
I want to know how common.
Go ahead, Sophia, and then we'll close.
There are some guys that will happily go for this stuff behind closed doors. But to everybody else, they won't say shit. So,
I want to hear from the girls. If you've done it with guys who like that shit.
I was married, baby. I did everything.
I've never personally done it, but my friend, someone I know has pegged a guy before, and I thought that was really fucking interesting.
I'm gonna not respect you after that.
Jenny. That's why we have to have this conversation.
I know, right? Because it's
all right. So we want to know. Hey, Primal, what you got?
Primal? I want to bring this back full circle. So what did we start with? What did we start with? We started with why do modern women not want to submit to men? Right. That's how we started here. So be leaders worth following. Women. Find men worth following. Men, be worth following. Women, find men worth following. It's very simple. We overcomplicate this way too much. So level up, get on your game, get on your grind, find quality people. Don't tolerate anything less than quality people. And if they're toxic, get them the hell out of your life. Like, don't tolerate that. You don't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? So anyway.
Anybody got time, buddy.
If you want to hear some stories of success, if you want to hear some stories of failure, I've failed a lot, but I've succeeded even more. Come check me out at Primal Studies. I have my YouTube channel, primalstudies.com, and Primal Studies on Instagram. So feel free if you want to connect for somebody with some sage wisdom.
There you go. Get you some sage wisdom. All right, guys. Go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't. Hit that sub button. Hit that notification. YouTube on some fuck shit right now. So please go ahead. If you guys want to basically catch these lives, hit that button so that way you're always reminded of it. All right. And with that being said, you guys already know what the deal is. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, support the channel. And we will catch you all in a couple of days. All right. Peace.